What is up, assholes? Welcome back to the Call to Action podcast. I am James, and we had a very big weekend. Last weekend, weekend before, it's been a while. With me I have here.
Hi, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Danielle. Hey.
To my left, I think, or right?
It's Belford. I'm back again. I know, 2 shows in a row. Just enjoy it. You know, you don't get it all the time.
How did we get so lucky?
Be thankful.
And it's your boy down here. It's Denuzio. Yes, I had 2 shows in a row for us as well. You just saw us a couple minutes ago. Well, we're back again and on the main show of our channel. I'm excited. We can finally talk about Spectacular after the long spoiler issue thingamajigger. That won't be an issue next season, hopefully.
It will not be an issue next season.
That'll be it. Actually, I think Dylan's planning hotcakes around that, so I won't steal his thing too much. I was about to highlight that. Thank you. As you can see, it's a very
Danielle, just Danielle, huh? Cool. Cool, Danielle. Cool.
Well, Abby knows me like we're team guys.
All right.
Let's
see how it is.
This is already a very strange chill to action already. But
already,
as y'all know, we have some new little thumbnails to go through this season. On this new era of call to action. Up first, we have Don't Call It a Recap, which is basically just thank you, Paul. A very long reason for us to talk about everyone getting drunk over the weekend in LA, some more than others, and just celebrating.
Who's that? Who that? Oh, there you go. Garth McMurray. Belford. He loves you.
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you, Garth. You're the best. Chris Adams, sup to you, brother. You're the man.
You're cool too. Don't worry.
Nice.
Yeah. So, what I want to hear from y'all, we'll get to Spectacular in a second because obviously it's the big thing you're looking at above us. But leading into the weekend, how'd y'all get in? And more specifically, what was the living situation? Because I wasn't a part of that. I want to hear all the weird stories.
All the deets? So to speak. Well, it kind of happened organically, really. It was one of those things where we decided we're going to splurge for Spectacular, and Jake Yacovetto was taking control. He's like, I'm just going to get a house, and I'm going to fill that house with as much from call to action as we can, and get as quickly as we can. And it kind of also didn't that night, I think we had the whole house already filled up. So it became the call to action house, so to speak. And it was great. It was great. It was, I would say it was Jake. Of course, it was Alex and Ben's best friend, Lucas. We also had, of course, Danny Joy, myself, Kelsey, and Sari from Australia came by. And am I missing anybody? Is that it?
Nope.
That's it. That's it. Also, all of us.
Oh, and Dylan was there for a little while also. Sorry, Dylan.
Dylan did pop in for the one night. That's true.
Dylan popped in.
Billy, we met you at Spectacular weekend.
We did. We love you, Billy. It was not quite the same.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Billy's kind of sad right now. Sorry, y'all.
So it is all right. It was missed, but we'll definitely make up for it in New York. So don't worry about it. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
there is a picture somewhere of I got myself, Kelsey, Sari, Alex, and Lucas got in on Thursday, and Jake got in on Thursday as well. And so we had a little bit of time before we had to go into the house. So we all missed Billy so much. So we went to Target to do a Target run. We went to L&L also, which is a Hawaiian restaurant. So we went to that. That was a lot of fun. And we went to Target to stock up on the essentials. And there's a picture somewhere of our shopping cart. It's literally full of White Claw.
We had the whole fridge full of
Our
White Claw.
fridge was full of White Claw.
And this we'll get to, but that is actually very true. The reaction thing.
I remember that just titled A Regular Thursday.
Pretty much. Great.
I didn't get in until Friday, which you guys had already started the party without me. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Friday. Talk about Friday?
Yeah,
Friday, we did the most fun thing ever, y'all. We went to Disneyland. I was so pumped. So I got to get my little first time button. I'm sorry, Billy. And I got to get my little mini ears, and we had a good time. And we went
to the podcast. Wow.
we waited until Paul got there to go into Galaxy's Edge, so we got to do that as well, and that was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I wish I had the video right now to show y'all.
It was part one of crying the entire weekend.
I wish you guys would see the video. It's true. I had Jake. Was it? Did you take the video, Danny? Was it
I
you?
took the video. Yeah, I have it.
Oh, the first time I saw the Millennium Falcon, and I was just like, you watch my face. I'm just like the whole time. So that was fun. That was very fun.
I'll post it somewhere.
It was a lot of fun. We had a great time seeing everybody. It was cool. Before that night, of course, was the Eric Nerd Chronic invited the Cold Call to Action podcast to come over to his house.
Well, it wasn't just us, though.
I was about to say, with a bunch of other people. We had, let's see, who was there? D2A. Yeah, I don't remember who they are. Fuck them.
Yeah. There was also
New British Empire.
Tony, yes.
Tony
was there. Of course,
Cinefanatics.
Cinefanatics, yep.
To the party.
Cinema Fanatics, as far as Christian's concerned.
Cinema Fanatics.
Hey, get that ma in there. Yeah, and late to the party was there. The OG reactors. Am I missing anybody? Was that it?
There was a couple people just like who we knew. Like Chance was there. Raul and Dwayne, who both work on the Schmodown sets, go to all the live events and such.
But as far as reactors go, that was what I think, right? It was built meant to be a reactor party.
Yeah, there's just a big like group get together. Speaking of Dwayne, who was with us, hello,
Dwayne.
And then Ryan, who y'all would know from like being in a couple episodes of Snowbaits. And we all just got together on one couch and then standing room only to watch the most depressing match in all of Schmodown history.
And I did have a few. Well, no, I had one bottle. So
you didn't have a few. You had one.
I had one drink. All I had was one drink. It happened to be a whole bottle of Jameson, but it was just one. It was just one bottle.
It's like Andy Dwyer in Parks and Rec. You can get two things. He walks in with a giant gummy bear. This counts as one.
This is bullshit.
This is bullshit. I was trying to channel Belfer because he wasn't there, so but it didn't quite work. Nobody can channel the original Belfer.
No, I'm sorry, Bill. I'm so sorry.
Bill,
and then
why was I invited on the show?
We already recapped the whole match, but then you had the after of it as well. Just the second it ended, just dead silence, and you just hear me scream from the kitchen, "What the fuck!" And it just cuts to our group, like. Other couch interview about the episode where we were all crying, except for we were crying, and then everyone else was like, "Oh, I'm so glad the guy is retired. Fuck the heel," and they were just tearing into him. I know where you are, Dome, and I know where you sleep.
Wait, who said this?
That's Tony.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Dome was like, "I'm so glad Guy retired," and she was trying to jump. Oh, I forget if it was you or Dylan. Someone was holding her back, and she was going to just.
Well, at one point I did too. I think maybe it was Nico or somebody said something. I just like stood up. I don't remember doing this. I was like, "Get the fuck, you're done."
I was trying to suffocate you with a blue pillow.
You do not talk about our Lord and Savior Andrew Ghai like that in front of our faces. Absolutely. How dare you?
And I will say that Andrew on his stream said he loved watching that reaction video. And he loved my particularly because I told everybody in the world 20 times how he was not fucking retiring. And that I was calling him right then and there because I was going to make sure he didn't retire. I did drunk call him about 20 times. He did answer twice, and we had a little circle where I had my phone out. We were all talking to him, trying to convince him not to retire. I wasn't satisfied with his answer. I don't remember his answer, so I talked to Ben. I drunk dialed Ben, and Ben answered, and I tried to talk him into.
I miss Ben.
I don't know if anybody else talked to me. I just talked to Ben because I was done.
I was there for Guy where
Paul
you
was
guys
actually talking to a potted plant.
No,
that would make sense.
Ben did confirm it. He confirmed that he answered the first time, but the second and third time he went, "You know what? I don't think this is going to be too important, so I want to let this one go to voicemail." And she did, and rightfully so. It was when I was going to call Roxy because I still wasn't satisfied. That's when somebody grabbed my phone away. So I was like, "That's probably a pretty good idea."
Yeah. So I want to talk about Garth's comment really quickly. I laugh when I am put in like that's my stress laugh. So you can when you watch that video and go back and watch it, I start cackling. Because I just had no other way to figure out what to do with my emotions. And I legit started crying. I actually started to cry. So, yeah.
Oh, no, was you, Alex, and Kelsey in the front row, and I'm just watching it back like, oh, that's a breakdown. That's not going to be fun in the morning.
I'm so glad you guys got to talk to Drew that night because he didn't answer any of my messages that whole night as I cried in the dark in the corner by myself. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so Belfort, so here's the fun part. We can now move on to Saturday, the spectacular, where everything happened and most of the interesting stuff was on camera.
That shit show.
No, that shit. Are you saying that shit show?
Other than Chance trying to tackle Kaiser, it was not a shit show. It was a pretty good day.
The Expo was one of the greatest things that Spowdown has done. I do hope that becomes more of a thing as we move forward. It was almost overwhelming because we had time. I still didn't get a chance to see everybody and talk to everybody I wanted to because there's just so much going on. But I also found it awesome just meeting the people, the fans, like the fellow fans, the fellow reactors, like people talking to them was just as fun and important as talking to the pros themselves. But Garth, maybe that could be true. That could be true.
So you were not fired, and this is your reason. It's like, okay, called us to make sure we were okay. You're set.
They'll answer every damn shirtless Jarvie call in the freaking world, but they won't answer a freaking message.
One last note about that night was it was right after we recorded the reaction thing. I DM'd Jarvie, call Paul now. I'm concerned. And he's like, wait, what's up? And I was like, have you seen the Shazam family match? Yeah, do it now. And then he just immediately FaceTimed you.
I don't even remember that. That's actually the funny thing about that night. The next morning, I told Jarvis, I was like, oh, this all happened. Jarvis was like, dude, you talked to me last night. I was like, I did? Yeah, no recollection of that whatsoever.
No recollection.
All right. Just to condense it, because we still also have 5 matches to go over.
Okay.
Was there any singular interaction that you remember from the Expo that really stood out to you?
I'll take this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, I got it. I had a couple of really good ones though. I really like seeing Ben, Mark, and Tom. And Mark got to share some time with Mark, and Mark was talking about I had an interview on Chill to Action with him, and he was very receptive to it. And he was great to talk to for a while. He was really happy with his interview, and so it was good to get that kind of that kind of feedback from one of the pros that had been on our show. That was awesome. Meeting Kate Mulligan was great. She treated me like a celebrity, which was weird for me to do. I was trying to meet her, and she's all excited to meet me. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And of course, meeting Shannon and Mike Shannon and Mike were very, very good sports considering our occasional rivalry. Shannon was awesome. I got to tell Shannon was spot on with everything we were talking about and had a lot of fun.
Shannon is a lot of fun. Texas native, get it, girl. Woo woo. Shannon might be the only reason why I would root for corruption next season.
Shannon seems like she.
After you met Chance, how dare you? Chance is a sweetheart, by the way.
Oh, Chance is one of my favorite people. I love Shannon.
Chance is going to be on corruption, but we'll get into that later.
That's true. That's something we will have to talk about at some point.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of good people. Danny, did you have anybody specifically that you had a good time meeting?
Getting to meet or getting to talk to Mark Riley was a lot of fun for me. Super sweet. It was very, very nice to meet throughout the whole thing, and just getting to kind of see everyone. Meeting Kate was so much fun that I really enjoyed meeting Kate, and just kind of the overall experience of everything was really neat. So I really do hope that they continue to do stuff like this for future live events if they can. If there's any way to sustain that, then that would be a lot of fun because it was a treat. And I think because it was my first time doing anything like that and being surrounded by so many people, it felt a little overwhelming for me. And right. I didn't necessarily want to go and sneak away and just have big conversations with people. So I think next time if I get an opportunity to do that, then I'm going to dive headfirst into going up to these people and doing all of that stuff and chit-chatting with them. And hopefully Jeff Snyder will have another garage sale and I can buy some books or something off of him.
That was one of the weirdest parts about it. Snyder hawking his material left to right.
Yeah, that was interesting. and Nico going over specifically to buy Jenga from him and just basically just threw it at Frank I challenge you. How the push
Ridiculous.
just would have came out that day. That's right. And everyone hates me, so I just hung out with some fan league people. Tony in the chat, he would know. I hung out with him, Jacoby, Nick Tuig, Ryan Payne. No one else of note. Like
No.
no one else. And Saul.
Wait, can we? I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but one of your experiences from that weekend, James, you were in the hospital.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So
Interesting start to the weekend for you.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to dive into because that's pretty personal. But yeah,
Right.
basically right when I got in LA, I went with Drew Grant to the hospital because she had some health issues that we were both very concerned about. So we just hung out in the waiting room for like half an hour until we had zero infos, and then I just left the party, and then I checked up on her, and yeah, everything's good now. She's okay.
Ironically, she was in the hospital at the same time Roca was in the hospital. Apparently.
Oh yeah, she challenged Roca to like a sick off.
Nice, fair enough.
She
Okay,
was on
wait,
the lookout
so-
for was going to be Blood Brothers with him.
I'm gonna backtrack this a bit. When I said no one of no, I just meant D2A because whatever. But also, my best friend in the world, Abby Friel, we hung out, and I just bugged her camera person about like, oh, I could do a better job than you and all that stuff. And also, Chris and Rob. I have not met Chris and Robert yet. Y'all have, so just whatever.
Oh.
But oh my
Why'd you
god,
say y'all like you're from Texas all of a sudden?
I'd say it all the time. Chris and Robert are some awesome dudes. Like I went to the bar with them afterwards, and I couldn't get in because I'm 20. But they were just they were great dudes.
Ah,
It was
Chris and
so
Robert are bad.
fun talking to them.
They're some of my favorite Spoon Down people in general. Like they know their shit. They're very friendly. They're very encouraging, and they put out great content themselves. So if you haven't yet, you should check out their Cinefanatics channel. It's a great channel to check out. I mean, I go there all the time.
Cinefanatics is Maddox says. Hashtag Texas forever. Woo! Love you, dudes.
Texas forever.
Texas forever.
There you go.
Tide.
That's a good call, Garth.
Great.
You got our trivia match winner gets the sailing trip. I like that.
Tony, great point in the chat. I couldn't get in, and I already got in a fight. I have a
Wow.
great history already.
I missed that one, but that's okay.
Because y'all were inside.
That's true. Sure, I went out. But... All right. So anyway, what about you? Anything more at the Expo? Should we get right into the matches themselves?
I think the only thing of note that really happened beforehand was the fact that I think Kaiser got on stage, is like sold the mic, is like, Mike's going down. He's getting smashed in a hamburger. He bought hamburgers, by the way,
That's
for whatever reason.
He handed out
I
hamburgers.
watched those. I don't know what kind of weird.
It was hilarious.
They were just McDonald's.
Also, apparently he was supposed to push Chance, but
Yeah.
forgot, and then was waiting for Chance to push him, and then kept
Chance is
telling
low
Chance
key
to
the
push
savior
him.
of the night. Like he picked up a lot of cues.
Chance, yeah.
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 We love it.
But and then Chance and Kaiser got in a fight. Then Mike and Smith started fighting, and that was it.
That was all okay.
Yeah. But you can see all of that in the pre-show hosted by The Rundown, in which Frank goes on record saying we suck again with his little eye rolls, whatever.
Oh,
So
I
where'd
missed
you go,
that.
Frank?
Oh, and it's the first thing. It's like, oh, yeah. And Brad's like, oh yeah, I love hanging out with those guys from Call to Action. Frank's like,
That's not even about a call to action unless we start fighting with Frank. That's our boy there. We have to fight with all the time, but it's all good. Oh, I did not know this, but the cards and everything. I guess you can see guys are whispered a chance. I didn't see that, but that's a possibility. I mean, I bet that we harken back to the day, the old school wrestling when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man broke up their team. They're supposed to be on live TV. I remember Hulk Hogan was supposed to be protecting Elizabeth, and Macho Man was supposed to knock him out, and somebody was supposed to grab the belt and didn't do it. So there's a big pause on TV. I love it when that shit happens, because he realizes when it's a live shit like that happens, you got to kind of improvise and fake it, and make it work. But maybe that's it. There you go. Chance missed his cue supposedly. Okay, there you go. But anyway,
so now we get into Spectacular, and we got the first match, which was a pretty big match.
we were
Ben
all
Bateman.
hyped. Ooh.
Versus William Viviani. And most of us were already drunk, so it was a great start, just pre-gaming a little bit. But yeah. What So Belford, since you haven't contributed as much, what did you think of this first match?
It
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost you, Billy. Billy,
You
lost you.
muted.
You're muted or something. I couldn't hear you. Try that again.
Beep.
Oh, wait. It's in StreamYard.
Muted.
Wait, no.
Try that.
Wait. Oh, their mic isn't connected.
Without technical difficulties, y'all.
All right, so while he does that,
I guess I didn't
see.
That's what Belford thought about the first match.
Oh, yeah, since you ate drunk? No.
Wayne sat in front of me at the reactors thing, and I feel so bad.
This massive and empty bar, which did awesome food and had to leave to go to that pissing sweatbox. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't hear it. That could be. You never know. He could be.
He'll then come back and get all that
Check the
fixed.
frame rate.
Oh,
It's the robot. It could be anything.
Oh my gosh.
Goodbye, Abby. Thank you for stopping by.
Love you, Abby.
There's Belford. Let's try it now. Can we hear you now?
all right, can you hear me now?
I
Yep.
can hear you now. Perfect.
Yes? Okay, good. You know, when I don't talk for very long, I probably just went to sleep thinking that I wasn't using it anymore. But I listened to that shit show about you guys all talking about flipping. All right, so the Bateman versus Viviani match. You know, it had a lot of ebb and flow to it. Viviani went perfect in round one, but missed his bonus, I believe. Right, that was in that match.
I do actually have the bracket.
I think that's what it was. I think it was like 8-7 or.
Viviani was definitely up by 1 after the first.
No. So Bateman was up 8-7. Bateman missed his bonus.
Bateman missed his bonus.
Oh.
Okay. And then the whole controversy with the challenge in round 2, which I don't like. They've like tried to explain it on SEN and Ben's and on Backstage. There is no way that Ben Bateman should have won that challenge. Like 0%.
He knows that.
It's funny because I think it was Ben Goddard who said if it was Jerry Maguire and they asked what job was Jerry Maguire, and Ben Bateman gave that BS answer. Yeah, it was 8-7 Viviani.
Yeah, it was 8-7 Viviani. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I'm double checking that. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
he
again,
just missed his bonus.
on Backstage, Ben got into it. He said himself it was a BS challenge, and he only did that to get in Viviani's head.
And it worked.
Same thing for the wheel issue in the last match.
He said that there were a few reasons to do it. He said, A, people don't use their challenges. There probably wasn't going to be another chance for him to, like, there's only a few moments in a match where you might actually have a chance to challenge. That was a chance to challenge. He did it to get in Viviani's head because he knew it would mess with him. It also, I think Viviani's a very flow player. He gets when he gets in a flow, that's why he's so good at free for all, because the flow is there. It's the same thing the whole way. Anything to break up that flow is good. And then also Sam Levine said, pulled a Schneider challenge. He basically talked his way. You know, he spouted a bunch of bullshit that sounded plausible, and it
confused. A little bit of confusion.
Tricked the judges into thinking that he might have had a point.
Huh?
Then Viviani gets Pixar, which isn't. That's not his wheel slice. I wouldn't say it's like a weakness of his because he's done well in Pixar before. But it's not his slice. So, and then we get to the betting round. I think Viviani missed the betting round question as well.
Yeah. I think every match in this thing, it was always one miss, one hit, and that was sort of like the deciding factor in every single match.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew DiMolanta and Nikki DiMolanta, they covered it on Beyond Schmodown, and literally in most of the matches, the betting round was kind of like where was the turning point in almost every match. Like the person who won hit the betting round, and the person who lost didn't.
I find that more and more is the case. It seems like that because that's always such a big swing either way. I mean, because
it's also a momentum thing,
right?
And that's heading into the speed round. Momentum is very important,
yeah.
Because the speed round is all about being in the right headspace, and sometimes it doesn't matter if you're ahead or behind, but it is momentum.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Ben pulled a bunch of bullshit, is what he did.
Good for him.
Absolute trash. I mean, hey, it's not him. It's the judges.
Well,
it's
if you listen to anything that Ben has said recently about the challenge, he's using it as a strategy because he said it on SEN that most of the time people don't use their challenges, and you can utilize that challenge to do exactly what he did in the Viviani match, which is a smart gameplay. Someone in the comments had said, look at the Video Drew challenge. And Video Drew's challenge was a legitimate concern on her part for it, but still, as a competitor, utilizing your challenges is a great way to play the game. And I'm so glad that Ben has talked about that before, because I think it is something that a player should use for even if it's just a mental warfare type of thing, but utilize that challenge. You have it. And if you know that you're bullshitting with it and you lose it, then you lose it. But I understand why most people don't, so they can save it for that real challenge if they need to use it. But I do like what Ben has said recently about utilizing challenges.
Sometimes it's just enough to get yourself a breath of fresh air. You kind of stop Bib's momentum, kind of like, okay, reset yourself, let you kind of calm down, let them talk while you're sitting there going, all right, let's see what we can do and get back into game mode. So,
well, also the Video Drew challenge is completely different from this challenge, though.
Yeah,
the Video Drew challenge was they said I mean, I would say that movie falls under the cat of. You could say that movie is a horror movie.
Yeah.
However, she challenged that because when they say horror, she's now thinking of horror movies. She doesn't consider that a horror movie, and they looked it up. They looked up under IMDb. It's not a horror movie, so that challenge is perfectly acceptable. 100% correct decision. They couldn't look up the fact that she's a sports agent in that movie. Like
it's how Ben worded it. Ben does bullshit enough, and sometimes it just makes it seem plausible. So
yeah, and that's more than that. So it's weird because I don't think that mattered really in the long run. That's not the reason why Ben won the match. A, points wise, and then B, also just it clearly perturbed Bibbs that's the way they ruled it. But that was I think that was the second question. That Ben had. Ben had two more questions, so there was a disconnect there. Then Viviani had his whole round too, which so that's even more time to disconnect from it. And then there was the betting round. So I mean, Viviani should have recovered from that. He had plenty of time to recover from that.
He did, but he didn't. That was the whole thing. And that's when when he got past him, that's when Ben knew it was over. He gotta have that fist pump moment.
Then the speed round happened, and that was just an utter demolition. That was like textbook speed round.
Ben really must have worked on his speed round because he was on fire. Just boom, 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 boom. Not as dramatic or as energetic as other people later on. The kid, but we'll get to that. But Ben, he could have won or lost.
Show for kids or not for kids? I don't know. We might not be able to talk about that. But it's funny because I always think of JTE as the king of the speed rounds back when the Patriots were on their run of defending the title so many times in a row.
Yep.
JTE always seemed to be one that would get the speed rounds because he was just quick on the buzzer.
Yeah.
And I think Ben has realized that one thing the speed round questions are very shallow questions.
Yeah.
It's never a deep cut. It's never because you can't think about it. You have to know it.
Typically, your questions are round one.
Yeah.
More surface. I don't even think they're round one questions. I think they're even easier than round one questions. Because round one, you have 15 seconds to think about it. You can get there. These are designed to who starred in this? They are entry level round one questions.
Right.
And so it's all look at Paul against Earl. All he cared about was buzzing it first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he got back in the match. And that's how he ended up winning.
And it can bite in the butt sometimes. But Ben made the good guesses. For example, the Star Trek one was one of the first things he mentioned. It's that Scotty, who played Scotty in Star Trek, he just assumed it was going to be 2009, not the original Star Trek movie.
Right.
And he was right.
And that's the thing. you don't want to get run over in the speed round because that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened to Viviani. He got run over. So you have to get in there. You have to buzz in. You have to take risks. I mean, Paul against Merle, I think he missed one of them in the speed round, but he knew he had to ring in on all of them.
Right.
The only way he was going to be back in the match. I think like Viviani just wasn't in the right headspace. Because what did they spin for the betting round? What was the category?
Movie release dates, I believe.
It was movie release dates.
Oh yeah, it was Goldeneye they asked about.
Goldeneye, and Ben mentioned that.
Yeah, and that's it. Ben actually talked about that on either backstage. I think it was SEN because he talked about it with RB3 about how people view movies and how people take in movie knowledge.
Yeah. And
because RB3 likes movie release dates, Ben obviously likes movie release dates. Sam Levine likes movie release dates. They see the movie and then they see the number in parentheses next to it. That's how they visualize the movie knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's how they process it, and that's why they're good at movie release dates. Viviani, that's not how he sees movies. He's a movie critic. That's the least important aspect of it. When the movie came out doesn't matter, especially because he's a movie critic. So most of the time, the movie came out this year, and that's how he remembers it.
Yep.
It's not, it came out in 2019. It's not like he's reviewing movies this year saying Parasite 2019, 2019's whatever movie,
right.
It's not how it goes. And then he got run over badly. And then he missed the 5. That was it, right?
I don't remember which question was the 5.
Because he got the 2 and the 3, and I think he missed the 5.
Because the final score was 20-18. So he missed his 5.
Yeah. So Ben would have had to hit. If he hit his 2 and his 3, he would have won. If he missed his 2 and hit his 3, he would have tied and still had been. Yeah. But
either way, he didn't even get that far because Ben had a TKO.
We'll see it more in the rest of this night. So I do have a bit of a hot take before we go into this. I think this was the best live event they've ever had.
Agreed.
And the best spectacular they've ever had. Agreed.
Well, they had the best matches already planned before Spectacular. It looked like it was going to be that way because every match had either had a story behind it or was a juggernaut type of match that we hadn't seen before.
And this is even ignoring the fact that somehow it surpasses all of those other things, all the other events and matches, despite 2 of them being TKOs, 2 of them being KOs, and 1 of them barely not being a TKO.
Right.
It was an incredible event, but these matches were sort of like blowouts.
My personal favorite one was the Houston event, but this Schmodown wise, game wise, was definitely hands down the best event of the year.
Yeah, Houston was a very special event for a lot of us anyway. We had a very big. That was the evolution of the Action Army, so to speak. So as we say a couple of times.
I'm rewatching all of Ghai's matches right now, just sort of slowly, and every time I see Houston, I can't bring myself to click on it.
That's the thing. We had a great time even with that outcome.
Yeah.
I can't. It hurts. It hurts too much.
It does.
I'll say this: every live event kind of lives in its own little bubble.
Right.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to compare one live event to the next because honestly, they've pretty much all been great. I can't think of a single live event that hasn't been really amazing.
Yeah.
As far as Spectacular goes, I think last year's Spectacular was better. I really do. I think it was just it was more competitive. There were better matches, I thought. This year's matches just were kind of anticlimactic. The only real matches that were the Star Wars match was kind of close. The teams match was a lot of fun, but again, by the end, it's not. It's a TKO.
I think the teams, and I'll get into it. I think the teams match was actually the best of the night, despite the fact that I wasn't a big fan of the outcome, because you had the Roca storyline sort of building into it, and it was all the entire time you always Shazam has got this, they're going to come back because they were winning in round 1. I think they did pretty well in round 2. I forget. Round 3 again, that's the falter. The betting round is just screwing them both over. Spending round had some great moments. In my opinion, Viviani missed a very easy 3-pointer. And then the 5-pointer, which when you're like, come on, they know this because they never miss 5-pointers.
I'm sorry, you think that Viviani missed a very easy 3-pointer?
Oh my god, that's like, to me, it's on par with Roca's 5, where it's like the brand of cigarettes in Tarantino movies. It's like one of those classic pieces of film trivia. Like, oh yeah, Glenn Close was in Hook. Like, that's what it was to me.
Yeah, that's very definitely singularly to you then, because that's not a very that's not like a common knowledge like.
What did you say, Danielle?
And most people I've talked to said that that's a 5-point question, not a 3-point question.
Everything's always subjective, though.
Yeah.
Everything's subjective.
Oh, I mean, that was that 5-point question of what were the names of the kids from the Peter Pan movie, and that's to me that's a fucking no-brainer. So questions are always subjective.
Well, there was the 3 ninjas question, which I thought was super easy, but apparently that's not common knowledge to everyone.
Belford, you and I like those terrible movies.
We do love, like we talked about on Chill. I love all the Ernest movies, so
Ernest.
I'm sure Dan Merle's not cleaning up on Ernest knowledge, but I crush him.
That's true. I will say it might be the case is that when you attend a live event, you might view it differently than someone who watched it from home. I know not to break your. I know Billy, don't bring that up again. I know, but because when you attend a live event, like even Houston, when you go, because Houston, I think Tony brought up in the chat that Houston kind of fizzled because it was double toasted versus the Founding Fathers, and that wasn't a great match. It was entertaining. Double toasted.
No,
it was 2 blowouts.
And Ben and Jerry's blowout, but yet being there in the energy in that place was unbelievable. And I don't know if it could possibly even translate to a small screen or whatever at this point. That being there can definitely change your view on things, I think.
Well, if I'm not there, then it's not a very good live event.
That's kind of true. So
also Houston was all about fan service. Like that event wasn't about trivia. Like no one cared about the trivia. That was all about fan service. It was all about Double Toasted as the local Houston team. This is like we like them, we love them. They don't get to be in the Schmodown they've only been in the Schmodown once before because they're not in LA. Right. We're gonna put them in a match, and it just so happened that they clearly don't watch the Schmodown because I'm pretty sure they gave them Westerns or they kept Westerns. It was really weird. And then nobody cared about the trivia in the Bateman Ghai match. You were just wondering who was going through a table.
Hey.
I want to spin again.
Ghai was doing pretty good in round 1, other than Ellis screwing up the repeat the question thing. It was there.
No, Christian screwed up.
Yeah.
Ellis heard it.
Ellis was right.
Said something.
Or was it Christian who screwed up? Either way.
Yeah. That's true. But
until round 2 was a good match.
And it was also about it was the energy levels. So I
will say this for live events. If you get a chance to go to a live event, go to a live event.
Go.
And if you go to a live event, be active in the Facebook group. Be active on Twitter. Find out who else is going. Meet up with them. Join a Patreon and join a Discord and talk to people on Discord because people are planning stuff all the time. If you're going to a live event, honestly, join Team Action's Patreon, Action Industries, because we're at every live event and that's where the party at. All right? That's how we do it.
Yeah.
And Tony,
it was in a wrestling ring. No one cared about the trivia.
It wasn't. It was more about the energy.
It was for our hearts. It was for our hearts and our souls, and for Team Action and the Action Army, which is a very strong group inside of the Schmodown community, and we're all very grateful to be a part of it. So to tack on what Billy said, come and hang out with the Action Army.
And maybe Tony, this is a hot take, Tony, for you, maybe for me, but I actually prefer the characters and storylines to the trivia. I like the trivia. I had fun with the trivia, but you give me a trivia question where it's people I don't want to name names that they just do trivia. I could care less. About it. When it's someone like Andrew Ghai who's jumping on the couch, jumping on the table and going, fuck you, he's getting all energy and insight. That means something to watch. I can watch trivia at a bar. To me, that's whatever.
I don't watch a show like ER to learn about medicine. All right? That's the organizing principle. All I care about is the storylines. The trivia is an organizing principle. It's what brings us together. And the fact that it's real makes it better.
Right.
But again, I can watch the shittiest Schmodown. I can watch Only Stupid Answers versus the Kingsmen, and I loved it because it's entertaining.
RMB
It's
versus
hilarious.
Dagnino. RMB versus Dagnino, probably one of the worst trivia matches of the year. Probably one of my favorite matches of the year.
Amazing.
Also, Andrew Guy versus Mark Riley, which I just rewatched. They're each at like 40% accuracy. It's a shit match, but it's so entertaining.
So entertaining, exactly.
So good.
But also, you know what's great about this trivia contest? You come for the trivia, and you stay for the dance parties.
That's right.
All right. Still, my favorite part of that gif is Brandon Hanna's disapproving face.
I've never
Thank you.
noticed that.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's I'm his spirit animal.
And I did think we should focus a little bit on the Star Wars match. I wasn't super invested, other than the fact that Laura Kelly is like a really nice person.
I love Laura.
And I was trying to whisper answers to Dylan half the time, and neither of us knew anything besides how many spikes were on Darth Maul's head, which he got right.
I got it, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Laura Kelly is a beast. I feel like a lot of people were underestimating her going into this match, and you can't. I mean, Alex Damon is a monster. Like, there's no way anyone can defeat Alex Damon at all. But I wish I would have seen a little bit more amp for Laura Kelly, because if you watch her matches, the 2 matches that she was in those 2 matches, she's literally gotten only 2, maybe 3 questions wrong in both of those matches combined.
Well, so here's the interesting thing, though. Unless I'm mistaken, I think the poll was actually in favor of Laura Kelly.
Oh, I
yeah,
missed
but nobody. That was like nobody actually thought that. They were hope. That was hope.
I think a lot of people go for the underdog just because it's the
That was
underdog.
the space nerds thinking that hope actually matters. No, here's the thing. Here's why Laura Kelly lost. All right, it's because when she beats Andrew DiMolanta in her post-match interview, she's like, "Oh, no one's going to beat Alex. Alex can't be beaten. You can't go into the match like that. That's not the mindset." And even like 2 days beforehand on Twitter, she's tweeting about like how she's going to lose to Alex Damon, and I'm like, "You can't be. That's not. You can't. You're
You gotta
a beast.
be cocky. You gotta be cocky enough.
Yeah.
Amp yourself up.
Yeah, you need a man.
Why not Dan Murrell? Not because he knows more about trivia than Dan Murrell. It's because he knew he was going to kill the fucking bear. All right? What one man can do, another man can do. All right?
Exactly.
That's what you got. Laura Kelly, slay the fucking bear.
Yes, agree.
Yeah.
Girl. Where's your,
Agree.
I'll be your manager, girl. We're going to go to the Belford dungeon. It's a little bit low. It's a little more low budget. We don't have hamburgers. We got short wieners.
Chicken nuggets, maybe.
Some spicy chicken nuggets, just the 4-pack, and a snack pack of cheese with the red stick that you scrape. That's all we got.
Belford's
But
basement.
you're gonna be in the right mindset that you're gonna fucking destroy the demon. You're gonna send his ass back to hell next time. All right, baby girl, come on down. We'll give him the fighting shape. All right.
You should be.
Some of us are. I think most
You
of us
should
will
be
be.
scared of the Belford dungeon. You really should. I'm scared of the Belford dungeon. Jeez.
But no, Laura Kelly, I mean, I think she has potential to get there. If she can just get a little confidence boosted, and she could give Damon a match. Although one other person could definitely give Damon a match, and that would be Mr. Sam Witwer, if he could ever come back from his schedule.
I think Damon has it.
I think Sam Witwer can give him a shot. I'm saying it'd be a good match, and I think
I think 2 years ago, Sam Witwer, when he beat Alex Damon the first time, like Sam Witwer beats Alex Damon. Alex Damon's not the player he was then, and Sam Witwer, he's been out of the game. There's going to be ring rust.
There could be.
He needs a warm-up match. He should play Sean Sullivan.
Yes. No, actually. As much as I love Sean, don't put him against Whitwer. I want him to win a match. I don't know how good he is.
I just want Sean Sullivan in the league. That's all I care about.
Agreed. I want Sean in the league. I want him against like Joseph Scrimshaw or someone. But so here's my thing. I think if Whitwer were to jump back into the league, he would lose against most of the currently active Star Wars players.
Really?
I don't think he doesn't play the game well, which is why he needed the Iron Man format when he went for the title. If you put him in a strictly 5-round format, he does not play the game well enough to win the match.
Interesting take. Been a while since I watched his older matches, I'll be honest. So it'd be
Well,
especially in a 5-round championship match, not a straight up Iron Man, you have 15 seconds to answer every question. Like, he got killed by Ken in the speed round because he was crushing Ken, and Ken came all the way back and tied the score. And I still have no idea what Sam Witwer actually said to win the match. I couldn't understand what he said, but I guess it was right. But
do you understand any Star Wars? Do you understand any of the Star Wars talk at all? I don't think you do.
What?
Do you understand any of the Star Wars talk? Any of the characters?
I know what an X-wing is. If you enunciate the words X-wing, I know what Ninko is. I don't know what Ninka is. Hey-o! That's a reference.
That is a reference. Wow. Okay.
Actually, Kat.
I feel bad if we rip on Mike now. Like, I legitimately feel bad if I ever say anything mean about Mike.
I don't.
Flesh
I love
Mr. Sam Jones. And like that, he's gone.
I do not endorse that message.
My
Not.
my hand slipped. It slipped.
Finger slipped.
So
It
here,
just, my finger
All right.
slipped.
I'm
Here's the thing, Mike.
a double.
Mike knows we love him. It's all from a place of love.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. Mike will have his day again. I think Mike should. Mike should not. Don't play 3 divisions, Mike. No one should play 3 divisions. 3 divisions is too much. Like, it's just too much. Focus on, either IG or singles and teams. Like, that's. And then Shannon is the best. If you're not in the MTS Facebook group, which how you could be watching us and not be in that group, but Shannon is absolutely destroying nerds in there, and I'm here for it entirely.
Yes.
She is my queen. I worship at the altar of Shannon.
I do too, actually. I do. I love Shannon.
Also,
awesome.
know this: if you come for the queen, you
better kill her.
You're gonna get your throat cut by about 8 other people. So
It's true.
just be warned. All right.
Just joining the Mike train from the beginning, but no, y'all had to wait for Shannon to remind you of how great he is.
Time out.
Nobody cares about Mike.
Yeah.
All I want is Shannon, not Mike. Shannon could draft 10 jabronis, or I guess now it's 8 jabronis, 7 jabronis, however many jabronis, onto corruption of no-name people I don't care about, like Robert Parker or whoever.
Off the
Oh.
Be a fan of Shannon because I worship at that altar.
How am I not the biggest heel on the show
Burning
anymore?
incense in the Belford dungeon to Shannon. There's a little shrine to Shannon over in the corner of the Belford dungeon. Don't even look at it. Don't bother.
Shannon has already put in the work to be the greatest manager of 2020. She's a beast. I love her. I want her to win all of the belts, all of the records. She will dominate next season.
Here's the thing about Shannon. She has LA looks. Like, she looks like she could be from LA. And she has the Texas ability to skin animals and kill things. Do not mess with Shannon.
That's a Texas girl, y'all. Let me know.
She also said the most fucked at the live event, therefore she is the winner by default.
Oh, Shannon's
I'm
partner
Christian.
was the best.
She's new. It's fine.
I'm a
I mean,
great
at least she didn't yell it
fan.
right into the camera, Ben Bateman.
Yo, okay, I'm super sorry. With Sorry's comment right now, I know we're jumping the gun, getting into this. I screamed my head off as soon as I saw Grace come out with her haircut, y'all. I flipped my shit. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite fucking part of the whole show. I don't care. It has nothing to do with Showdown.
The haircut.
My favorite part was the haircut. Good job, Danielle.
Yo, I lost it. I lost it.
They were good. They were good together. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But
Let's
anyway.
get back on track here now, y'all.
Wait.
Yeah,
First
where
question.
were
Who
we
is
on the
this?
review? We just finished the
Wait.
Star Wars, I think.
Guys,
Yeah.
who is it? Because this looks like not. Is this Kate?
What?
Who is this?
No.
No?
Cam shots?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Cam. Welcome to our channel.
No, because I saw like, oh, I love Spectacular Greatest Night. I'm like, who is it? And now that I see the picture, she looks like Kate.
You talking about Kate Mulligan?
Yes, a little bit.
No, it's not. Cam Shaft is
I don't think it's Kate Mulligan.
It's not Cam Mulligan.
It is. Hi,
Cam
Kate.
Shaft, say who you are in the chat. 'Cause I'm very
Franklin? I
curious.
don't know who Cam Franklin is either.
Oh, we've met Cam Franklin. She's very nice.
She was very nice.
Yes, she is.
Anyway, we've gone way off track. We just finished the Star Wars match. That's what we do.
Yes.
So why don't we head on to the next one?
Do we need to focus on the teams match? I feel like I already hyped it up. Probably don't need to talk about it anymore.
Here's the only thing about the teams match that was like, so Roca's entrance, which was amazing. You couldn't see him on the live stream. You
couldn't.
Like until he was on this, like literally, like until they were like behind the desks getting ready to start, you couldn't tell it was Roca. Which they needed like a spotlight that would have like just brought the whole thing together, like because the music was amazing and like the realization kind of that swelled. Because as always, it's like it takes forever. Like no, not everyone gets it at the same time. Like the music starts playing and you can hear it kind of go through the crowd of like, wait, what's happening? What could it be?
Yeah, that's definitely more. I think that'd be more for the live crowd. That has to do with like production stuff as well.
And it actually is Cam. What's up, girl?
I've never even met her, and I knew it. See, in you guys' faces.
Well, there you go. I didn't realize that either. Okay. But anyway, the Roca's match it's very theatrical. It's very wrestling. It's very old school WWE style entrance for Roca.
It wasn't even. Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead, Danny.
They did a great job at like pumping that all day long because throughout the Fan Expo, throughout the entire matches, that was just something like John Roca is not coming. Like he's sick and we don't think he's going to be here. Like we don't know for sure, blah, blah, blah. And they just kept that up throughout the entire day until it happened. So that was really great on everyone's part.
Yeah, even at the expo, like, I love the thing. Like you see Dan and Mara there, like on the call sheet was like Roca was there, but it was like a get well soon kind of thing. So pretty funny. It was a pretty funny event there. So
wait, I'll get into this more in the news. Dwayne, award noms are out.
No,
no. We'll get to that stuff when we hit the news. So let's continue. So right now, we'll continue now.
Thank you, Dwayne.
So the other thing
say it in the chat.
The other thing in the teams match, also as far as Roca goes, I literally thought like, oh shit, Roca's not going to be there until Christian came out. Then I was like, okay, here we go. This is like something's happening. Like,
yeah, it wasn't exactly the most well kept. I'm not going to say secret, well kept. Like it was one of those things where like it was built up. You knew it had to happen the way it was gonna happen. I legitimately thought like Dan wanted to challenge them. I was like, this okay, Dan, all right. Right.
And then like they're like, we don't want to win that way. And I was like, okay, they're gonna push it to New York. Like that's what I think a lot of people thought was like that would be the other New York, that would be the New York undercard.
Right.
Well, it would be Founding Fathers versus Shazam for the titles.
Right.
Or the New York main event. I don't know. Like,
but as soon as he said something about like they were going to strip the titles, I couldn't see that happening.
Yeah, that was
you're not going to do that spectacular. So,
then we
get
into the match itself, which kind of like the only thing we need to talk about is the speed round and
and the kid,
Brendan the Kid Meyer getting real excited on the
that was the best.
Roca calling him out, and then Roca doing the exact same thing. And Mark Ellis calling Roca out for it. That was fantastic.
No, the best part about it was Roca's like, you don't need to hit it that many times. Viviani's like, don't worry, Meyer, you can do it. Just have sex with that button. Roca's like, I bet you do want to.
It worked.
It worked. Hey, it worked. So, doing well.
Okay, so here's my time. Just like how I said, you know what, y'all, it's okay to like Ben Bateman. This event made me like John Roca a little bit. Only a little. I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, top 10 this, top 10 that. Because on top of this, me rewatching a bunch of the old matches, like, I don't have to agree with John Roca or to like his character to like respect the work he puts in.
Well, Roca let's be honest. Roca walked so that action could crawl. No, sorry, everyone.
Whoa.
Roca crawled so that action could walk. Because Roca was the first character in the Schmodown. He was the first real character in the Schmodown. People like Action took that and brought it to the next level. That's what it was. Yep. But you got to respect, like, at least he was someone who was very passionate about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that like Roca's character was still pretty much an extension of himself in a lot of ways.
Some of the best characters are. I mean, like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Drew Ghai is the first character in the history of the Schmoedown.
Drew Ghai is the epitome of what a character. And it's not entirely unlike him. Let's be honest with you. He's very nice, but he gets that amped up kind of.
But it's like it's the darkest corners of his personality. Like
absolutely.
I will say this: John Roca. From where were they at? Orlando? That's where they won the titles, right?
Right. Yep.
From his post-match speech in Orlando through Spectacular has been the best work of his entire Schmoedown career.
Agreed.
Not the trivia, just him on the mic. He has not ever been better on the mic than in those two events.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievable. Honestly, since Founding Fathers was formed, he has been back to not even back to. He's just been on another level as far as mic work.
He's got a new life.
Yeah,
he's got a new life.
When
that's
Dan was thinking about quitting in the one post match, and he basically talked him out of it, to doubting him, kind of doubting himself in the tournament. The work leading into the tournament this year and in those matches has been great, and then these last two events have just been out of this world, unbelievable. His post-match speech in Orlando is probably the best single promo in Schmoedown history as far as just pure mic work, not scripted, funny, stuff. Just amazing.
Is it because he mentioned us, or
that helps? I was there, so that also helps.
I'm gonna transition this because here's my challenge. I see that, and I raise you Mike's pre-match speech at Spectacular.
See, really, I disagree with that. I disagree with Mike's pre-game speech. I honestly felt Mike. I gotta be honest. If I'm watching the whole thing, I kind of felt Mike was off his game the entire day. Like in Expo, all the way through, it just seemed like Mike was not. I don't know if he was overamped or worried about it, but he just seemed off.
Oh. Here's my platform to say this. I'm going to get yelled at more after I just hyped up Roca. Great. I think Mike slipped on the first question, and not because of anything about the game. The audience treated him like shit. And that's my biggest critique of the live event. There were a lot of rowdy people who I think interfered with the game flat out. And part of that was Mike's promo. I love what he did, but the crowd literally spoke up, cut in during it. That's why he lost the match. Yes, Mets pitched a perfect game. The crowd did not treat Mike like a competitor. They treated him like any random person and treated him horribly.
Well, what I can remember hearing, and I think I can't remember exactly where I heard it from, so I hope I'm not misquoting anyone in anything, but Mike was trying to go for that. He wanted the crowd to be against him. He was trying to be a bigger, stronger heel. So I think when you go into a situation like that, that's what you're expecting, and the crowd did what it did. I do agree with you to a certain point. There were certain times where I did feel like the crowd was being a tad bit disrespectful, but not in a way that was because of anything Mike said. I think it was something that happened. I can't really remember much, but something happened and the crowd laughed at a certain point. But I don't think it was because of something Mike said. It was something else that was going on inside of the crowd.
Yeah. Well, so
but I agree with you. I do think that the crowd threw him off a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Tony mentions it here. Same thing with Oyama in New York. It just wasn't there. It was no one, the crowd themselves were just, they didn't support him. They didn't care about him, and they just wanted to ruin him. It went beyond booing. It was just.
Well, here's the thing. You can't spend 18 months everywhere in every promo and all over the Facebook pages basically saying, hate me, be against me, pick against me, all this stuff. It just fuels my fire more. And then you come in at the culmination of those 18 months in a live event, that's what's going to happen. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't really know. I didn't really watch the entrances. That match. I don't think I watched the pre. He looked out of it though, for sure. In the before the match, he did not look. That's one thing I will say. Mike feeds off of crowd interaction in where he can actually interact with the crowd. And I don't think that crowd was interactive. I think that crowd was just negative, and not in like an interactive kind of way.
It was beyond like typical booing that you would see from look at San Diego. The crowd interacted with him a lot there. That worked great. And maybe Orlando, y'all could account. Well, maybe it was different.
Orlando, he got booed out of the building. So
even before though, I kind of just felt like he was.
What are you expecting? James, what are you expecting people to cheer him or something? It doesn't show up in the video. Guy next to us, right before Mike started his promo, did like a water drop sound, and that's what I mean when it's like actively tearing down and disrupting what a competitor is trying to do. Same thing happened like during questions. People were trying to speak up, get in Mike's head. The audience was trying to do that. That was my issue. And it could be because I'm biased as a Mike fan and saying like maybe I picked it out more because of him. I think that was like the audience got to him. I think if you do that, I think if it was an in-studio match, it'd be a lot closer. But besides the fact,
like I said, I'm going back to Mendeling real quick. I just really did think that even at the Expo, he seemed off. He just even before that came on, and that whole promo, it could be good, but I felt like the promo was off too. I felt like he just didn't have the energy it usually had. And I know maybe that was a choice, but it came off to me that it reinforced my idea that he was just not quite dialed in. The whole thing.
I think also, so Mike he starts out as he forms corruption all last year. He becomes a heel. By the end of last year, he's a full-fledged heel.
Right.
He beats Rachel. And that's kind of like the start of the tweener, Mike, because he beats Rachel. There's the embrace, the post-match interview talking about how much he respects Rachel. And that was when people started to kind of like come around to Mike. There were obviously people who rooted for corruption because there are people who are going to root for heels no matter what. But a lot of the mid-round people, the middle of the road people were starting to, Mike's cool because he respects the game so much, and that started to build. It started to swell. In San Diego, it was great when he beat Rachel. When he beat Smets the first time, that moment of him crying, and people started to get behind Mike, and then he goes to Orlando, and honestly, I think he even said it in an interview. He thought that crowd was going to be for him because people had started to support him, and then he shows up in Orlando, and that is not like that crowd. I'll say this: that crowd starts out kind of even, and then by the end of the night, everyone's now jumped on the bandwagon, and they're all Horseman fans, and the whole crowd is now throwing up the 5, which I feel like. That was another thing. What's that?
Don't do it. You're almost doing the 5 yourself.
Don't do it. That was the middle finger. This. And I think that kind of crystallized things in Mike's mind as far as how the fans go. Because at the beginning of that night, it's kind of an even split a little bit. Like people are cheering for both of them. By the end of the night, you would think that every single person there was the longest running, Horseman fan, except for the cool group in the front left that. Except for one little flip-flopper. We stayed strong to our guns, but the rest of this, all these other freaking bandwagon jumping mother fellers in the Schmodown community, so I love how suddenly everyone's the biggest Ben Bateman fan in the world. He didn't make a single top 5 list in his entire career. Now all of a sudden everyone and their brother has him in their top 5 for life, and it's because that's what happens.
Recency bias is a real thing. Yeah,
and I think that got in didn't get Mike's head, but it crystallized in his head. And then he goes to Spectacular, and there's not even the pretense of supporting Mike. It's just like hostility now, and it's like it's.
Well, it's also who he's playing against.
Because
Smets is a darling of the community at this point. Smets is someone who everybody's behind. Everybody loves. He had the story. He had the storyline going.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's which is funny because he was supposed to be a heel at some point too, but he never quite gets over as a heel because everyone cheers him too much. Everyone wants him to win. So in that, as far as the storyline goes, it was supposed to be Smets getting cheered, Mike over Mike at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is a tweener and he wants to be loved. And I think, and I get that, especially that's where the whole kayfabe versus reality comes in. Some of the things is real. Some of the things deal with kayfabe better. But if you can't have it both ways. If you want to be heel, you're going to get booed, and that's supposed to happen. I think Mike kind of has a hard time going full in on that. I think because he's an actor. He's not like some of these people that deal more than wrestling. They get that concept better. Like Drew Guy has come up and said, "I want you to boo me. I want to get called an asshole." I feed off of that because that's what that's him doing his job. So I think, but sometimes it's harder for people to get there. It's a hard place to get there, to know that you're going to go out there and you're going to be called names and you're going to get booed because that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But here's the thing.
I do want to make one small note.
The wrestling crowd. What's that?
I want to make one small note because I don't want to forget about it. David B also came in with Kalinowski, which I think was like night.
That was awesome.
It was like that was such a great moment because I got to hang out with David B afterwards. Great dude. I love seeing this fan recognition, and I'll get into more of that later because it's a big thing for me. But yeah, just seeing someone like David B on the platform, great time.
I think that honestly, like, it was awesome that David B did that, and it was really awesome that he did it for Mike because that was like that was one of the first ones that he made was the Corruption theme song. But it kind of like it comes off as douchey a little bit. Like you're coming out to Spectacular and you're the only one being played out to Spectacular, and I think that might have been in some people's minds. As far as Paul, but as far as like the crowd goes, it's not being booed or being cheered. It's the hypocrisy of you cheered me a minute ago, and then it's the what have I done for you lately? All of a sudden now you're going to boo me for because I lost, which happened to Smets a little bit too, because there were people who were questioning Smets when he lost to Mike the first time, because the Schmodown fandom is like full of hypocrisy. It's human nature. Hypocrisy is what defines humanity. We're the only animal that is able of being a hypocrite, and it's like that's what happens. Like,
well, it's also
Smets thought that crowd was going to be for Mike. He told me 2 months ago that he was glad I was coming, which I didn't get to go, because he thought there weren't going to be a lot of people rooting for him in that crowd.
Yeah, I heard that.
And 2 months ago, it probably wouldn't have been that many people rooting for Smets. 2 months ago, that crowd's behind Mike. After Orlando, they fall off the bandwagon, and now all of a sudden they jump because I talked about this with you guys earlier. I don't know. We like to see the best or the worst. So when Mike's going for 3 belts, that's a historic thing. Everyone's on the Mike bandwagon because I want him to get 3 belts. Oh man, I love Mike. Mike, 3 belts. Yeah. He loses a belt. Now he can't get 3 belts. There's no way he's going to get 3 belts. Now all of a sudden everybody's on the no belts Mike bandwagon. Because if he can't have 3 belts, I don't want him to have any belts. And it's kind of like, what are you like?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, also what's funny is that some people, I think somebody in the chat just said it. They said that, I think it was Eric Frederick who said it, that it was kind of weird that Kevin ended up cutting almost the same promo afterwards. And that's a little behind the scenes we were talking to people afterwards, is that Kevin was kind of confused because that was the promo he was going to deliver. And then Mike was kind of going into that same direction. That kind of confused the situation for him, I guess. So it was a confusing situation for everybody indeed. It seems like they don't understand always how the crowd's going to work, and they can't have a hard time reacting to when the crowd doesn't act the way they're supposed to act, so to speak, if you know what I mean. But either way, getting into the match itself, Mike already seemed to be in a bad space, and then once he missed his first question, it was done. The match was over almost after he missed his first question. But the end of the first round, you could see him. He was just like,
Well, again, like this is another situation where the match was defined by the betting round. The second he missed that, it's over because Smet just kept pushing the knockout.
It wasn't. I don't think it was the betting round at all. It was the first round. Once the first round was over, the match was over. Mike was done. He was out of it completely.
I would argue against that because Mike has been very far behind. I mean, twice against Rachel Cushing, he's down. He had terrible first rounds. He got 4 questions right in the first time he faced Rachel Cushing. He's down by 8 heading into the betting round. The last time he faces Rachel Cushing, it's the betting round. Like if he can get the betting round, and if somehow Smet stumbles in the betting round, there's still a chance.
No,
like
I agree, but what I was trying to say is that it was his mindset. Like his mindset, once he missed those first questions, like he was not coming back. He wasn't. He had no chance to make it in the betting round because he was already checked out at that point. Not that he wasn't trying, but it looked like his mindset was just once he was down. Like we talking about Laura Kelly being unconfident, he lost all confidence during the first round. Like I looked up at him and I just didn't even know why he was playing anymore at this point. It was all done. I knew right away that this match was over. I had no doubt in my mind Kevin Smith was going to be champion because Mike had no more confidence left after missing three questions in round 1. But the first question, it was like a snowball. So you can talk about the betting round all you want, and I'm sure, Mike could have come back, but not the way he was playing. He had nothing. He just had nothing. I felt bad for him. I felt the whole match was hard to watch because I was a big Kevin Smith fan. I was rooting for Kevin Smith to win the belt. But by the end, I was going, oh God, just get it over with. I felt like put him out of his misery at this point. It's just awful to watch. It was hard to watch. It's like a dead man walking at that point.
I think one of the other things is that every match that Mike has been in this year have been like barn burners, have been like nail biters. Mm-hmm. Until the last 2 matches of the season, which is really unfortunate. Because Orlando was not a barn burner, was not a nail biter, and then
it was the exact same match they had in the second time.
Huh.
It was the same 21-31 issue where it's like they had to come up to tie it.
Yeah. So Kevin won, but you know what? Yeah. I can't say this enough. As much as Mike was out of the game, I still can't help but say Kevin definitely earned his victory the entire way. He did everything he had to do. He fucking threw a perfect game. He deserved it.
I just hope that this lights another fire under Mike.
I do too. Because the league is better when he's on fire. The league is better when he's in a good place.
Yeah. So
I hope he does 2 divisions. I really do. Not 3.
Right.
All of the respect and love to Mike Kalinowski. His run this year was amazing, and that's definitely not something to put behind anything. But y'all, Kevin Smets got the fucking belt. Kevin Smets is the Inner Geekdom champion.
Kevin Smets pitched a perfect game.
He has been my dude since he came out in the league, and I was so pumped about this. I am so proud of Kevin because he's worked for this for a very long time, and that's nothing to discredit either. And for this, and going into the not being able to come in last year, going into the fan leagues, doing what he did in the fan leagues, fucking crushing it, not only in trivia but in all of the aspects of the Schmodown in general. Working his character, he might break a little bit of kayfabe every now and then, just a tiny bit, but just his character work, him working with Kaiser, the whole dungeon faction, all of that stuff. It was completely earned. And I'm so fucking pumped for Kevin. Good job, my dude. So proud of you.
And if you guys don't know this, it was kind of came out and Lit the Party had their little video and little thing. Kevin Spence is down with the Action Army. He loves us. We love him because he came out and just had the belt up and was like Action Army also because he's one of us. He's been on Ben and Drew's streams. We've been rooting for him the whole time as well.
Oh yeah.
Nat is right. That's right. There's gonna be we kind of Smets. If Mike can come back, Chandru, Hannah.
Just to say that really quickly. It's funny because about 6 months ago, people said that the IG was a 3-person division, and that was when it was Rachel, Mike, and Kevin, and that nobody else. There were no other Inner Geekdom players. Now there's 7 people who can do damage in Inner Geekdom.
Now we have Chandru and Han in the game. Chance might come in. Oyama just said he might come in on our show.
Dan
Merle coming in. Robert Parker coming in. Mara coming back.
That division is so deep. How is the singles division?
Alex Damon's going to do it too.
Yeah, according to Chandru, this is a very thick division.
Thick.
Very thick.
Oyama might be an Inner Geekdom.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. But as we all know, thank you, Danny. Robert Parker's winning the belt. I'm sorry, Kevin.
I
He's scary.
to speed through this as much as we can. I'm sorry, just because I have been avoiding the chat and our group messages and all of that
Okay,
stuff.
yeah. So, final match of the night: Bateman versus Oyama.
Okay, let's say it's real quick. I gotta say that with Bateman and Oyama, we're going for it. I'm friends with Oyama. I've worked with Ben for a while, and kayfabe, of course, we're a team. Most of us are Team Ghai versus Team Bateman, and you threw that out there. But when you came down to that, and you know how much Ben worked, we all wanted Ben to win the belt.
Absolutely.
So this is what you do: you turn your mic real low so you don't blow out any eardrums, and you just say from top of your lungs, "We got the belt!"
Where's the belt?
Like,
It's
oh
right
my
there.
God, we got it!
Belford, you can frown all you want, Belford, but you even told me that you wanted Bateman to win too, and you know that's true. You can say it all you want. You told me specifically that you wanted Bateman to win the belt.
Ruben Bateman. I did not message him immediately afterwards, congratulating him. I did not cry when he won the belt at all.
Belford's
No tears.
that should be
In my
respected.
drunk corner by myself, crying.
Yes, it was that
No,
good.
honestly, so this is what happened. So Spectacular Night, I was working, so I couldn't watch Spectacular live. And Will McLean was basically sending me play-by-play of Spectacular. And I'm driving, and he sends me that Ben Bateman wins. And I almost got in an accident. I had to pull over and cry like a little bitch. Because my boy Benny.
Hey, in your defense, everyone was crying when that happened.
Oh my God.
I saw Danielle and Alex just hugging each other, just barely holding together. Paul was barely standing. Kelsey was barely standing.
Right now.
I'm tearing up. The funny thing was, I got to tell you this story. I'll tell on air real quick now. After, which we didn't even mention, which we have to go back a little bit. We didn't talk about our Lord and Savior and you guys' reappearance at the Spectacular and how that went down live. But after,
okay, yeah,
we'll go back into that. We're gonna. I didn't forget, but we're gonna go back into it.
I was about the managers I forgot about, but yeah.
Right. But I gotta say, when that happened, as soon as that happened, I texted because Drew wasn't there. So I texted him. I was like, "Yo, you son of a bitch! You retire on us, and then you come back this next whatever." I went back on him, and he goes back to me. He says, "So he just asked me, Ben Champ." I went, so I'm the one who told Drew
Nice.
that Ben won the belt. Ben won the belt. He's like, yeah.
That was this. I am so mad they cut it out of the actual live episode. It's a solid like 20 minutes of R&B just riffing, yelling at us, and our entire section are just on our feet booing that man.
It's not on the feed, y'all, but Robert Meyer Burnett said Action Army, more like Inaction Army.
That's a John Roca insult from 3 seasons ago. Get out of here.
Ooh.
And Harloff getting that's it. Cut his mic.
Get it. Cut his mic. Cut his mic.
Didn't all say that at one point?
And so Harloff did it. So
Agreed. Well, so here's my second hot take of the night. I think y'all can agree. Houston, where Action Army sort of like formatted into what it is today. I think that moment is a signifier of Action Army, I guess 3.0 in the future. This brought us together in a new way, and it's going to unify the community in a new way going to season 7.
I think it allows other people to understand. Like, the Action Army has never been like. We've always been a really nice group of people, and I think that because of what the team action characters were, people were just against us in a certain way. And I do think that next season, and with all of the love that we've been currently getting from Christian Harloff and a lot of other people inside of the Schmodown, Action Army isn't just specific. Like it's a thing now, and we're totally welcoming to a lot of people. So James, I completely agree with you on that. And I think it's just going to open up for a lot of other people to actually come in and hang out with us and just understand that this is just a part of the love of the Schmodown and the games and the characters and what the Schmodown does and how it's brought us all together as a community.
It's like how seeing Belford's face in Houston sort of ever let everyone know what action was. Us standing and booing, which I'm so glad they got on camera. Us standing and booing is showing to them what Action Army is into the next season. That was like what it is. And of course, the unified hate of John Roca apparently. It's diminishing slowly.
We did. We actually, I was just saying, we made up a little bit at Spectacular, which was nice.
A little bit.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we shook hands and we showed a mutual signs of respect. It was good.
Yeah. And
we talked about it on Hotcakes when we did kind of like the retrospective of like what's Action Industries, what's Call to Action, what's Action Army. And the thing with Action Army, because there's no more Team Action, there's not that's what Action Army used to be about, was supporting Team Action. Team Action's not a team anymore.
Right.
You can support whoever you want and be part of Team Action.
Right.
We have people who support corruption in Team Action.
Mm-hmm.
We have people who support the Five Horsemen in Action Army. General Kyle Grandinetti, the king of the front row at Spectacular, he supports the Five Horsemen. He's a terrible person, and I hate him, but he's an Action Army. He's a general of the Action Army. Lucas has a man crush on Mike Kalinowski. Like, apparently he also had a nice little picture with John Roca because, he likes the Five Horse people. He's Ben Bateman's best friend and Ben Bateman's a trader.
Well, let's be honest, too. Even with the competitors, we have all the competitors are now like part of the Action Army to a degree. Janine has been OG Action Army for a long time. Brandon Hanna is an OG Action guy. Paul Yama used to be was all about the AMA at one point. We had, Kevin Smets, like we just said. Everybody we talked to, we're actually spreading out so far, and that's one of the problems. I don't know who to root for anymore. So they're all becoming like friends, becoming friendly with people. So it's like, I can't root against you.
Weird. Paul's rooting for everyone? Shocking.
No. Team Guy is always my first love, though. That's it. Once I had those 14 tequilas in Houston.
Sure he was.
I've never been against Team Guy. Even in the Call to Action videos, I was the one digging out the Champ Sludge shirts from the garbage. I was the don't sleep.
And crying into them through your bottle of Jameson.
Yes, Jake. Jake learned that very. He learned that very much so.
My mom is Team Guy, so there is no way that I can ever not be
Everyone's mom is Team Guy. Have you met mothers?
That's true. Rachel Silva-Strini is also a part of the faction too. She's big.
What? Oh, there it is. Okay, great. All right, yeah. So we should wrap up because we still have a lot to cover.
We do.
Do we have any final thoughts on this?
Well, we should talk about just real quick. Talk about Andrew Guys specifically. We talk about RMB throwing it up. Yeah. Andrew Guy, who by the way told us at one point that this was he just did that promo in one take, because that's just how good he is. He is by far the best promo cutter in the league by far. He just does it, drop of a hat, put it in there, boom, there you go. So it was awesome.
Promo to promo. He's never given a bad promo. He's never given a boring promo.
And once he mentioned the Army, I don't know if you can get it. I don't see the difference between the.
That's my mom.
Hi, Mama Dennis. Right? It might not come through in the audio, the replay, but the play has exploded when Drew mentioned the Army. So it was. I
love that Christian called out Ben for not thanking the Army, and that Andrew called out the Army.
That was funny.
It's a fact. John Roca loves the Army more than Ben Bateman. It is canon.
And one more thing for Spectacular. What was your favorite manager reveal? We know Danny loved the haircut that.
Is this Jack? I don't know who you are.
Hi, Jack.
New to our show. Welcome, Jack. We'll answer that question.
New York person.
Watch season 3 of the Showdown.
We are a Team Action podcast, and John Roca was the first big rival to Team Action.
Watch season 4 when we tackled him to the ground.
It was a big thing. So all of a sudden, from then and there,
Showdown when we crushed his hopes and dreams of winning a title.
So that's pretty much where it started. Team Action is their biggest rival, and so we just went with the side of Team Action. It's kind of been that way ever since.
But we all are normal people, and we all do respect John Roca as a competitor and as a player inside of the Schmodown. So it's just it's been a bit in this podcast for the entire 2 years that we've been running. Yeah.
I'd also like to point out on my little board of what to cover today, we have covered just the first thing. So this is a very fun time. All right. Okay. So
the fact that you wrote that board in more than one color, I have no respect for you whatsoever.
Here, just small note to end our don't call it a recap it is confirmed the new name for the new season. I guess it's sort of news also, whatever. We are the new era.
The new era.
I really love the design of it. Like the 7 looks really nice and everything. But yeah, that's really it.
Okay. So
we
we got
we have the full list of managers and stuff. But what's more prescient in our
Yes, let's do this.
news thing called Schmoedown News. Great title. I am going to pull up the nomination list.
Christian has just announced our nominations.
Hope it's the right tab. It's not the right tab.
We have not looked it up. We just keep looking at the chat and going, people, the nominations are up. So I have not looked. I don't know.
Here you go.
Go now.
Abby's. I'm going to close
Everyone, I can
that.
open it.
Close out all your
Wow, that
chats,
is going great.
all your private DMs. We don't see you sliding into your DMs. So let's
Yep, you don't see absolutely anything. All right. This is blurry as hell. But okay, Danielle, you can open your eyes.
I can't see
not
it.
see anything.
Best individual entrance. Abby, stop DMing me. We have Greg Alba for the free-for-all for A Star Is Born. I want that to win. Sorry. Jeff Snyder for the free-for-all. Thanks, Tony. For his Bear Jew entrance. John Roca's Sick Game.
For the spectacular.
Yep. Andrew DeMolantis X-Wing. Great entrance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Rachel Cushing in San Diego. Good entrance.
Oh,
David
yeah.
B's music in there kicked fucking ass. The
Great.
Shire, the revamp, or the
That was a
remix.
great entrance.
And William Bibiani against Chance for Love Actually, which I honestly don't remember.
I do. It was funny. The cards and everything. It was funny.
Yeah.
And
And then we have actually, yeah. So who do you guys have taking that? Again, I think Greg Alba should take it. That was
Greg Alba.
phenomenal.
I'm gonna go Dark Horse and go with Andrew DiMilano because of all the work he put into that one. That was a great. I mean, it's a lot of theatrics, a lot of technical work.
It has
but
recency bias too, because Free for All was so long ago.
that's
It's a very, very strong second place.
fair. Real quick, Lucas. I love you.
But everyone DM me. Let's look at your old DMs and see what's in there. Matt, stop it. We're already in the video.
Nat.
All right.
All right, moving forward.
Team's entrance. Shazam for Home Alone. I'll get to that in a second. Shy Wolves for Thelma and Louise. The Looney Bin debut entrance. Shazam pretending they're announcers. And Scream Queens versus Odd Couple. God damn it, Eric. Okay. But also, I saw in the chat earlier, because I saw these a little bit before, Bibiani will not be campaigning for the Home Alone entrance. He is going to strictly focus on the announcers entrance, which they did against the Odd Couple. So, yeah.
Huh.
Those were the entrances that got nominated for Shazam. That wasn't even their best entrance was the alternate universe entrance.
I liked the audience one or the announcer one myself. I did like that one a lot.
It was fine. Like, I like the tail of the tape for Mark and Ken, but that's the only thing I don't like about that one is that it relies on Mark and Ken. Like,
Did you say bench entrance by team? Maybe it got changed. I mean, Crimson Fury was there. Tim Franco revealed his mystery partner. I have that in my list that I'm looking at here.
That was that this season? It was this season.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm saying I didn't think you listed it in the noms when you were talking about it. That's why I didn't hear you do that. So
where y'all seeing these at on the group?
yeah.
Oh, Kelsey, close your eyes. Not Kelsey, Danielle, close your eyes. Because we have the actual nominations for podcast / after show
I
of the
can't
year.
see any of this anyway. I don't know if anyone
That's
else
good.
can see this, but
Yeah, nobody
So-
can read this.
First up, we have Abby Friel.
Who?
We also have John Movies, Albert, friend of the show.
Who? I love Albert.
We have Dedicated to Arts.
Who?
oh, who?
Yeah. We have Take 3.
Maddie Kern.
Oh, I love Maddie Kearns. Maddie Kearns is awesome.
Love a Matt.
And Doug Castle and Kristen and everyone there.
Absolutely. Kristen, by the way, we met Kristen
I was on his
in
Space
Spectacular.
show.
And just some small show named Call to Action was nominated for that.
We did it.
That's very exciting. That's very exciting news.
And I do want to point out, just for Chris Adams in the chat,
Oh,
I think y'all weren't nominated just because you're actually in the draft, so you're shown unaffiliated.
that might be the case.
That's my only thing.
I wonder if that's
Other than that, I really don't know.
Oh, that's all of them? That, like,
that's five.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
only
five.
nominated 5.
Cinematic
That's it.
didn't really get nominated?
What?
Like I said, Cinefanatics, I think we're in the show.
Cincinnati are
this
not
year.
nominated.
They might have
Again,
been.
I think it's because
if
they're
you have over
affiliated.
1,000 subscribers, you're disqualified. And
Well, now I'm sad, but also happy. Sorry, y'all, but
It was Call to Action was nominated. That's all we.
All the action was nominated. Yes.
Mom, we did it.
Very
Yeah, we
happy
did.
with that.
All right. I do want to look over a couple more of these.
Yeah.
Moment of the year. Bateman winning the singles title and the contenders match in the same night.
Yep.
Viviani in the free for all.
Yeah.
Roca's sick game.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel beating Kalinowski, and Matt Atchity challenges against the family.
Ooh,
I don't think Bateman or Viviani should be in here because they're not moments. They're an entire event.
Well,
Bateman winning the title is a moment.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
not
yeah.
the
when
whole
you add
event.
in the first match, it's different, but Bateman winning the title is a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Viviani, if Viviani had won the free-for-all, then you could point to that as a moment. Like, he won the free-for-all, and he did it standing the whole time. He didn't win it, so it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
I think
Atchity has to win it,
Atchity will
though.
win.
I think
I
actually.
don't think
Atchity
should
has to win it.
No, it's a dumb moment. Like,
I don't think
It's
that it's.
wrong.
I think it's an important moment in the Schmodown. I don't think I wouldn't vote for it just because I don't think that it's like award winning worthy type of thing. But I do think that it's a huge dramatic moment in the Schmodown, and I very much appreciate that it's nominated.
It's a big talked about event.
Yes, absolutely.
So I mean, it's got to be not recognized at least for that because I mean everybody talked about that as being holy shit. What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
All right. And then
it shouldn't have been talked about.
match of the year, we have Irwin versus Merle in New York. Good choice.
That
That's
Kalinowski
great,
versus Cushing 2 on the throwdown. Kalinowski versus Smets at Collision. Kalinowski versus Cushing in San Diego. Looney Bin versus the Time Machine. Corruption versus the Shire Wolves. Corruption versus Founding Fathers 3. And Shazam versus the Movie Guys.
Interesting.
Oh, fun.
And that's an interesting last one. I think, like, I'm like 90% sure that Kalinowski versus Cushing 2 is going to win it. And I don't
think it
disagree.
should. I think it should.
Yeah.
I honestly think Kalinowski versus Cushing 1 should win it.
That wasn't this year.
Because
I think you
it
mean
wasn't.
2. The first one was last season. It was the 101.
It was the throwdown.
That's
When Rachel won the belt
Yeah.
with Ninka, that's the one that should win.
The
Yeah.
throwdown one,
Because
yeah.
it has the amazing, like, Mike being way down, Mike coming all the way back to put it to overtime, it coming down to a letter, Rachel becoming a double champion, all of that, like, that's the match of the year. It's
Yeah.
the
Also-
only one. I think Dan versus Irwin is probably the most underrated match, but
Well, it's because it was also so long ago. It's a recency
Yeah.
thing. It's like that was this year. Yeah, it was January, right? Beginning of the year.
yeah, January.
So, also on Babyface of the Year, Ben Bateman is nominated.
He's not a. He's a
Here's my
winner.
story about
He's
this.
not a
Here's my
face.
story about this.
Talent.
So the first year that
Challenge.
they did the awards, Christian Harloff had posted something about baby faces and he named names. And then I was like, because me not knowing anything about wrestling at that time, I was like, why isn't Ben Bateman on this list? And because he was technically a heel, I didn't understand what a heel and a face was. I was just thinking a baby face. Why wasn't Ben Bateman on this list? And now finally,
He shaved before Spectacular, the bastard.
Wasn't Roca nominated last year for heel and babyface of the
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. That's
Ooh.
I mean, one man's babyface is another man's dirty, rotten traitor who betrayed an entire army. So, potato, go fuck yourself.
Bateman even said that he can't even do a face properly. He doesn't quite get that because he stumbled when he tried to be completely a face. It's when he went back to his tweener ways at the very least. That's when he started getting success back. So right there and there, I told you he can't be the baby face.
Garth, supporter of the show. Thank you, Garth.
Thank you, Garth. Always Garth.
Yeah.
Always great that way.
All right. And now we have overall player of the year, which I know we talked about, and these noms aren't surprising, but it's still an interesting discussion.
Okay.
Dan Merle,
Right.
Rachel Cushing,
Very deserving.
Ben Bateman,
Mhm.
Mike Kalinowski, and William Bibiani.
So no Oyama there.
I don't think Oyama gets in because his team game wasn't quite there. Everyone else here dominated in 2 divisions.
I guess, and you can put Oyama in the rookie of the year category. Kind of gives him that prestige in a way. But
to me, it's a 2-horse race between Mike and Rachel because I think Inner Geekdom's the overall harder division. But also, does Mike's singles play put him ahead, or does his not so great record there pull him down?
I think he gets pulled down. I think he gets pulled down a little bit because he had a great run overall, but he also recency bias is going to bite him in the ass because people barely remembering the great run. They remember how the founding fathers took him out of Orlando, and how he got wrecked by Smets at Spectacular. That's going to.
He also broke up the World's Finest, which was a former championship contender team.
No, that's true. Decent.
I think it's. You think it's Mike or Rachel?
Yeah, I don't think. I think Merle has a very good shot.
I think Dan Merle's got a great shot.
Dan Merle winning it. He beat Irwin.
He's a harder division. That's
but see, that's a semantic thing, and you can't use it as that's not a basis because you can't quantify the fact that it's a harder division. That's a harder division to you. And granted, this is your opinion of what it is, but that's using opinions for your opinion. Like, at least try to have some sort of bring the actual numbers into it. Dan Merle won the free-for-all. Dan Merle won the singles title. Dan Merle defended the singles title. Dan Merle won the team's title. Dan Merle defended the team's title.
Yeah.
It's Dan Merle.
I think Cushing's got a good chance. I think Cushing's got a good shot. But the fact that she retired in August will hurt her a little bit because I think a lot of people remember her more from last year.
She'll play the whole year. She probably wins it. Yeah.
I can go with that. What about Ben? Right. What about Ben up there?
No, teams play. Again, everyone else here is 1-2 titles. Besides Viviani, which is why we're not putting him in there. That's the only thing for Ben.
But recency bias could help Ben in that factor as well.
But the one thing, what helps Ben is the back surgery. That's what helps.
No, it's not a laughing matter. It's actually true. He has back surgery.
The fact that he played, because everyone knows the story now of that they all filmed all those matches in one day, and he crushes the kid. He plays the teams tournament. He's looped out of his mind. He wins the singles tournament. He wins the singles title.
Yeah, I think that's what I think.
The Schmodown.
People remember Ben, and Ben was a story. Ben getting the belt is a big story. He was the little guy.
But look about who he's against. There's no way he can beat Merle, Cushing, and Kalinowski.
But you can tell about whether he's deserving or not. But that's a different story.
I don't think he can beat them. I think you look at the 2 titles, you look at the fan bases behind them. I don't think Bateman has the push to win.
I think
my point is also because Comeback Player of the Year has Andrew Ghai and Ben Bateman nominated, and how dare you do that to my emotions? Choose one, so I already know who I'm voting.
I don't think Ben can really get there because he didn't really come back. He still played in a title match last year and a number 1 contenders match. Ghai, I would say, is absolutely not a comeback player.
Excuse me, sir. I don't promote this, but knock him off of this podcast. Get him out of here. How dare you?
What did I do?
You said I was not deserving of Comeback Player of the Year.
He didn't come back from anything. He had great last year and a great this year.
I don't know. Guy didn't have a great last year.
He was 2-1 in teams. He was 2-1 in singles. He played in 2 number 1 contender matches.
Yeah, okay, but also Team Action broke up. He lost to Ben Bateman in Houston. He finally got to the family and did all of that stuff, and having to work through being a heel and doing all of that story-wise, Andrew Ghai is complete. And you all can argue against me all you want, but my heart is where my heart is, and Andrew Ghai is Comeback Player.
Going back to the previous thing, Nat gets me.
Yeah. I think Kenneth Lee in the chat says it best, the cool guy. Snyder wins. 100% Snyder wins Comeback Player.
Good.
Because last year he was broken up with the Patriots after a really bad final showing against Above the Line, and then he reteamed with the Odd Couple, wins the title, goes for the title again in New York, and as well as being a dominating presence with Roxy. I think he has it by far.
Well, I don't know about that because they did well in the teams tournament. Like him and Andreyko won.
They got to the semis and got taken out by Harris Brothers, which was not a good takeout.
Y'all vote with stats.
They got to the semis though.
You vote with your heart. That's so nice.
Okay.
What's a heart?
Again, we're running very long. We're probably going to push 2 hours. I'm going to try not to do.
Yeah, we usually don't do that.
Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what, though. So let's just keep it quick. Other news: we had the new. Actually, let's live events. January 11th, in like 3 weeks, I think. You get to see us. Maybe win an award now? Confirmed? Question mark. Also get to watch the draft, which I got plenty of thoughts on. And yeah, come. It's pretty cheap. Great time. Lots of booze. 2 drink minimum. Yeah, I'm already hiccuping. That's great.
Yes.
It should be fun. Should be
It's
very
gonna
fun.
be fun. I will be there. I will be at the awards and the draft, so you can come and say hi. I'm bringing my mother with me, so the 2 of us will be there. So
Introduce her to Andrew Ghai.
I will be there on Danny's phone when she FaceTimes me.
Yes, I will be FaceTiming Paul most of the time.
And I can't get in, but I might be in LA just to watch a movie or something, so we'll see. All right,
You
yeah.
can go to the that you can't get into either.
Alex and Lucas and Kelsey will also be there from the podcast. I'm not exactly sure who else from the pod will be there at the awards.
We can hit him up tomorrow after everyone gets out drinking and celebrating. Also, we have he will be. Doug's a great dude. Hang out with him.
Also, Malcolm, congratulations for you being a part of Take 3 as well. Just wanted to say that as well.
Go Malcolm. All right. Also, just a reminder, the New York undercard was announced. Andrew Ghai.
Yeah, you have the wrong
I didn't
poster.
upload this. It's Andrew Ghai versus Robert Meyer Burnett. I hate it.
Why?
Really
Why?
don't- So
Because you can't be out there, maybe.
partially. Also, it's lose for Drew. Either
No.
Either he beats R&B, and Ben gave him a win, so we're still indebted to Ben Bateman, or he loses in the most embarrassing defeat you'll ever have.
He will not lose
He is
again.
not going to lose to
There's
RMB.
no other
No, again, that's why it's most embarrassing. It is lose for him. No matter what
James.
situation, he comes out of this match looking worse.
James, we just talked about it earlier, okay? Andrew Ghai is the best promo man in the business. He's going to spin this however he wants, not whatever bullshit Bateman was talking about on backstage of I want to give Drew a chance to do something this season. What's line? All right, so Andrew Ghai, he gets to shut up R&B forever. Bye-bye. Enjoy your one win over Dagnino and losing to Hector Navarro, all right? That's all you're going to be remembered for. And then we can move on to bigger and better things, all right? By then he'll have been drafted by some excellent team. I'm thinking Roxy and
The Roxy.
Yeah,
It'll be,
I also don't. I think with Guy's face turn and Ben Bateman still kind of technically being a face, I don't think that it would come off that way. I don't think Ben is going to put that in Drew's face that he owes him in some sort of way, and I don't think Andrew will carry that on his shoulders that Ben Bateman gave him a win or anything like that. So I don't think that the narrative would go in that sort of direction. But I either way, that's going to be a fucking really fun match to watch, and for Ben to have waited this long to use his like little pass that he got in Houston for the stipulation that's been fun because I completely forgot about it, like totally 100% completely forgot about it until they talked about it. So that was I think it's going to be fun, but I don't think that it's going to swing in that type of narrative at all.
I just want to say also, as someone who's going to be in New York, fuck yeah, I get to see Andrew Ghai fucking go to town against R&B in the mic. That's going to be fucking fun as hell.
On the mic, okay.
So sad I can't be there.
Also, to address Danny Coast Guy as a face now, apparently no one has let him know that yet because he sure as hell ain't a face in the MTS group right now. That face turn is not complete yet.
It's slow.
That is a real person, by the way.
There you go.
Putting the fear back in where it belongs.
Yeah.
People should fear.
Let's be honest.
Do not tag Andrew Ghai in the group and talk bullshit because he will destroy you.
Okay, so and then small note before we move on to the next segment, or sort of. Atlanta confirmed February 29th. Alex Damon probably gonna play. We'll see how that turns out.
Possibly Intergeekdom is what I've heard the rumblings that he might play the Intergeekdom match. That's a
Paul knows everything, so let's just trust his word.
I-
And then the free for all on March 21st, same theater as last time. Gonna be crazy again. We'll see. All right.
If Viviani is not the number whatever pick 42 coming out, I'm gonna be so mad because that man deserves to be the last pick, last person coming out.
He does.
He have to stand for 6 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right. And then sort of double on other stuff. We have stop, speculate, and listen. Because it's going to tie into our next thing. Danielle, I believe, do you have the draft order? Or no, Billy has it.
I have the draft order.
Thank you, too. Oh, both of y'all have it.
Well,
One of y'all.
Prepared.
I had, okay.
So the first pick, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Too soon. Poor.
Hashtag justice for, I'm gonna have it going in the banner. Give me a second.
No.
Drip drop.
Drip.
Drip.
Swag squad. I felt so bad for him.
First with the usual suspects. Then we have Jay Washington with Villains and Heroes. Then we have Rock Stars with Roxy Stryer.
Love a Roxy Stryer.
Is it the Mouthy Mercs? Is that what is?
Yeah,
the Mercs. Yes.
Andrew.
Cool, Andrew.
Aside, pause. That's my least favorite team name. Sorry. Continuing, we have the Dungeon with Kaiser. We have the Finstock Exchange with Dagnino,
Which might be my favorite name.
who doesn't pick till the 5th round and has a steal. Then we have Corruption with Shannon, Queen. Yes. Bow down. Then we have Winston Marshall, Swag, Drip at number 8. And then we have Emma Fife in the Fife Club. And then last and certainly flipping least, we have Robert Myronette
Burning
and the burning trash cans. Yeah, Drew. Sorry,
The burning Drews. My heart was so torn because I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan, and I
Garth,
thought
I just said that, Garth.
yeah.
Okay, I like the Burning Drew. Is that just me? Like, I enjoy the team name. Fuck Burnett. He ain't getting anything, but I like the name.
James.
Okay,
It's fine. How would you rate? Like, what are your favorite team names and what are your least favorite team names?
I hate swag. I hate the name.
Oh,
What is it?
Why?
Here. I hate the acronym. I think Schmodown Winners and Greatness, great name. Don't like swag. It's like 2016, but disgusting.
Buddy, you're
Why
totally
disgusting?
wrong. I'm sorry. Swag has been around. Swag is not a word that is just it is a part of time. Swag is actually like who you are, and it's a feeling. It's a being. It's not a fucking hype word. I'm sorry. It's not just a hype word. So
Yeah,
You're
best
James Spence is wrong.
best fact name is Rocky Stride, or is the Rock Stars.
The Rock Stars.
Yeah.
Well, we were there when that happened.
Yeah, I know
Someone-
against that.
Someone posted in the Facebook group. I just had to chuckle at this. That like Roxy gave the big speech about how she's the manager for her players, and it's all about her players, and it's all about what she can do for her players. And then she's like, "In my team name, the Rock Star." It's like fair facts.
We all love Roxy here. The three of us here, at least Paul, Belford, and myself, are big fans of Roxy, and we're in her. And James has been showing up in the chats.
We've been going
I
through that for a
try.
while.
It's just
though.
really late, and I end up watching other streams at the same time.
So
So you don't choose so you choose poorly. That's all.
Or I'm
Like-
doing our own streams, Paul.
Okay, that's okay. It's okay.
My favorite and
Excuses,
least favorite name is the Finstock Exchange.
I
don't know.
love that name.
I don't know if I like it the most or the least.
I love that
great
name. And
name.
here's one reason I love it even more, because the more we talk about the Finstock Exchange, the less it starts becoming about the Horsemen anymore.
True facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I did want it to be Gucci's Goldfish. I don't know how that didn't become a team name. Win a Goldfish here for a year now.
Want to go?
And we didn't get Gucci's Goldfish? How do we not get Gucci's Goldfish?
Good call. Good question.
It's a dead meme.
It was the lowest hanging of fruit. Like, it's there.
True. It's true.
Drip, drip. I can see what's going on in the chat right now. And drip, 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 drip.
I'm very old.
My team going to drip. I'm going to back
No,
win.
I'm a very old white guy. This whole drip drip thing passed me by.
Did you all hear that Matthew Ryan
I love
rap
it.
on F Live? That flipping thing, that was amazing. That freaking rap song. Although we didn't have
So
like people.
fucking good. If you have not heard the Bagel Boy song, I can't remember what it's called.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god, y'all! Please go.
Stealing your,
Watch it.
stealing your bitch. That's what the name of it is, I think.
Best line of the decade.
Stealing your
Stealing your
bitch.
bitches, stealing your bagels.
Ben Goddard.
Stealing your bagel, stealing your bitch.
That. It's so fucking good, y'all. It's hilarious.
No, my favorite line is it's like it, and if Winston or Cushing or Bateman are there, oh, what does he say?
It's sure to be a good time or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's so good. Oh,
good.
it's
is.
fire.
So fucking good.
Here's the thing I wanted to focus on. I think a big sort of center of this draft is, can Shannon get corruption? Because if not, she's sort of screwed.
She's getting them. I guarantee.
So okay,
somehow.
Yeah. So no. So here's my thing. I want to do like a mock draft of round 1 and see what y'all think of who's taking who. And I'm gonna use Garth's comment to keep it on screen because it's very simple that way.
Okay.
I think without a doubt, Sam takes the family in round 1.
I think there's an outside chance.
I don't think so.
I think there's a chance that he goes with Shazam.
Yeah, that's where I think he's going as well.
Because you have Viviani, you have the kid. They both do tagged. They both are excellent singles competitors. That's kind of a huge connection to have.
I think, and Sam doesn't care about like loyalty to like. He already left McWeeny in a lurch.
Well, I don't even think it's that. I think that a lot of what's going to be in consideration for this draft, at least in my opinion, and what I can take away from listening to the managers talk at Spectacular, listening to what I've heard on SEN and stuff like that, I think a lot of these choices are also going to be based on what these factions want to do. So with Sam having the usual suspects as his name and kind of the vibe for his team, I think Shazam fits more into that than what the family does. So I think that there are going to be managers that are going to draft players for competitive reasons and stuff like that. But I do feel like there's a big possibility that it's going to be also a themed type of draft in a way, but a smart way.
There are some definitely managers who know more than others. RMB has been famous for not knowing a damn thing about it. Christian has said it. RMB has been asking him, like, well, I don't know who to pick. And some people are going to go. Winston has said he's going for trash talkers. It's going to be who's going to be voting for the right people for the right time.
Right.
But so the thing to me is, like, think back to Ghai's promo. He said he wants to leave R&B and he's going to come back with the real family. And I think that's what Sam embodies to specifically McWeeny. But I think it's going to go to that whole faction, the usual suspects. Sam feels indebted to McWeeny. I'm sorry I left you, and I'm sorry I abandoned the team's titles that he worked so hard for. And he wants to help Drew get the title again.
Where are you getting that at all? Because that is not Sam Levine.
Sam mentioned it. He said he felt bad for abandoning Drew with the titles.
Sam Levine is the most cutthroat player of the Schmodown in the history of the Schmodown.
Which might be a good reason why you just see that, though,
will
too.
Cut your throat to win.
Yeah.
And he's going to pick the best possible choices available. And unfortunately, that's Shazam.
Yeah.
But there's also points. If you're going to go for points, Guy's going to have a match right away. The family also has a number 1 contenders match right away. So Sam might take that into account, too. So I'm not outruling the family. I'm just saying that Shazam is a good chance for that, too.
Yeah. So
William Viviani lives at the studio, so he's there every weekend. He wants to compete in every single match. Brendan Myers caught the bug. He's all about it now too. Drew Ghai, much as I love him, and I'm proud of him, he's got CRL. He's a working actor. Like there's other now. Brendan Meyer, granted, is also a working actor, but like there's already other things that are interfering in the scheduling for them. I'd pick Shazam. Viviani's in every match. If you can't have Roca, no, he lives under the desk.
Here. Wait, so Belford, let's table this. I think you're making a good point. I'll come back to it in a second. The second pick is Jay Washington. I think he goes Irwin no matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
Then the question is raised if he keeps Janine. I think he will, but there's always a chance that he doesn't.
I don't think that he will be able to keep Janine. I honestly think Janine is going to go pretty quick. I think she's a very underrated player.
No, he gets the option to keep her though, because Time Machine are a top 10 team.
No, it's top 5.
No, so top 5 have to stay together. 6 through 10, you are allowed to.
6 through 10, you have the option to keep them if you want to.
Yes.
5, they have to keep them.
Oh.
Like so, whoever takes McQueenie gets Drew Ghai. That's it.
Oh, okay then.
I think I'm like 7 or 8.
If anybody's going to take Mike Kalinowski, it's going to be Jay Washington before Shannon, because Jay Washington will A, do it out of spite, B, do it as strategy to trade for picks because he's a sports guy and he's a fantasy sports guy.
He knows the worst name.
Someone to prevent someone else from getting it.
His team name's also the worst name, by the way. I hate that one. Villains and Heroes.
Villains and Heroes.
I don't like that team name at all. Like everyone else, a lot of people seem to hate that team name. I was like, that's fine. Like it kind of fits Jay's motif. Like,
well, to me, it's like Koi's, where it's super generic, and I don't care. Like it's just.
I hate Koi's. Oh my god, I hate that team name.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, also about like I was looking at Frank Jonish's thing for the draft, and it has Janine and Irwin separate. I think it doesn't have the team together.
So that could be where he says, "I want Irwin, but not Janine," or "I want Janine, but not Irwin." He has the option to say no, and I think that's what Frank is imagining happens.
The 5 teams that he has that listed as teams, you have to pick them as a team.
Right.
So you can't. So you're going to list, if you list them in a draft board strategy, you'd list them apart because you don't have to take them that way.
Right. And I thought that you guys had said earlier that Janine and Irwin have to go together.
No, they're not top.
No. You have the option to take them together.
Right.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So
then we go to the third pick. Roxy Stryer takes the odd couple no matter what.
Oh, that's hands down the easiest.
Yeah.
Right there.
And then Koi, which this was going to come back to you, Belford. I said he takes Shazam. However, if he doesn't, the family 100%. I think I think Sam and Koi, they swap picks in my mind.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Shazam or the family, they take one or the other. One takes one, the other takes the other.
Well, I think so too, just because there's like those are the 2 best of the unprotected of the unprotected teams left. I think those are the best 2. So like if the family gets taken first, then Shazam definitely goes to Koi.
Yeah.
Unless they go to Jay Washington do that. Does Jay Washington decide to take the family or Shazam?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think they fit him.
Yeah.
I think Ethan Irwin definitely fits him because he's worked with him. I think Mike fits with Jay. I think they have very similar mindsets as far as like the Schmodown goes. They're both very passionate about the Schmodown. Jay Washington is very passionate about the Schmodown.
Right.
A lot of people have been talking about who's the most strategic manager. Jay Washington is a very strategic manager. He challenges more than most managers do. He challenged in New York for Janine. Like, he's challenged a lot. Like he's very tuned into the Schmodown as far as gameplay goes. So I think he fits with the family, Ethan Irwin, and them. I don't think he fits with Shazam. I don't think Jay picks Shazam but maybe, who knows?
Kaiser does not get in. Kaiser's the next one, and Kaiser does not get a first round, right?
Right.
Because
He's got
they're-
Smets.
He got Smets.
Smets is his first round.
So the next pick after that, it's not going to be Dagnino either because he's going to be out
That
for the
is.
first
It's
4
one
rounds.
of his 4 picks that he, whichever one.
And then after that, it's Shannon.
That's definitely true. Definitely true there. Julie.
That's right. We're pushing on. Shannon is next with corruption, right? So she will be right after.
Well, that's the question I have about corruption is idea, and we kind of blew through that whole strategy thing. I'm wondering, this to me where it comes into how many people are going to take this as serious as a sports thing, and how many people are taking this theatrical, and how many people are going to take this as my friends are in this trivia thing. How many people are going to say, you know what? I know Mike wants to work with Shannon. Mike does not want to work with me. Am I going to bother drafting Mike and deal with that headache, or do I try to trade him or whatever? I think some people might go, you know what? That's not even worth the issue to me. It's not even worth the fight. If you're smart, if you're really smart and strategic, you take them maybe and then trade them to Shannon because you know Shannon wants them, and maybe get a little more than what you wanted. However,
here's a question. Here's a question about that. So you pick. Let's say you pick Mike, right? Let's say you're Sam Levine and you pick Mike. You get chance, right? They're protected.
Right.
Now you're going to trade them to Shannon, right? Because he's not going to work with you.
Mhm.
I'm assuming you have to trade both of them because they're a protected team. There is no way you get in return the amount of value of Mike and, of what you're going to trade away with Mike and Chance.
unless you get multiple draft picks.
They might fall to Shannon just because of that.
That's definitely a possibility. Absolutely possibility.
Like, let's say
you
take them, right? Let's say Sam Levine takes corruption because just to say he did it. And then Shazam gets picked, the family gets picked, blah, blah, blah. The best player available at Shannon at that point is probably Paul Oyama. And the pick to have. That's a great pick to have.
Yeah.
And then according to Frank's terrible rankings board, so then Shannon would then pick again at, let's see here. So she picks 7th. So then it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. She would pick at 14. And at 14 on his board is Chandru. So you're trading Mike and Chance for Chandru and Paul Oyama.
Well, so that's the thing.
That's not
you either trade Mike and Chance for her 3rd and or 4th round pick. That's the issue. Is where if you get Mike and Chance, you have, I know she doesn't have them, you have Shannon's balls in the vice. She has to get them and she has to make the trade. And you get a very high tier trade for that. And like Robert said, you could get a Shazam or a family and a very strong IG player in that trade. And
Shazam and the family would be gone by then, though. That's the thing.
No, that's the thing. If someone takes corruption, they might be available.
No, they won't be. They'll be gone.
Not by the time Shannon.
They're going to be Shannon. They're going to be picked up by somebody else.
Yeah.
The best player, Shannon. If they get picked before, then Shannon is probably getting. I'm assuming probably is getting Paul Oyama.
Just to make sure, also it is a snake draft. So.
And Paul Oyama might even be gone by then. So then you're looking at like Tom. I mean, like that's.
Well,
Tom's great in round 1.
What I was thinking was going to happen was if anyone does it, like Jillian said earlier, Jay would probably take corruption because again he likes pushing buttons. He would try to get under their skin. He would take corruption and then tell Shannon, "I want your first 3 draft picks in exchange."
Yeah, and this is the other thing is I would definitely pick corruption because then you either trade them to Shannon for 4 picks, right? Whatever. Or you keep them and you get corruption, right? The only problem with that is Mike says, all right, I'm retiring. I'm out. Now you're stuck with Chance. And that's it. And then what do you get a 2nd round pick now? And that's if Mike might not even say he's retiring until afterwards. And then you're like, now I'm stuck with all I have is Chance, which is great. But now I'm going to have to pick up a free agent to fill my roster. It's tough, man. And Shannon honestly could be like, no, I'm not going to trade. I'm going to keep what I have because I know Mike's going to retire, and then you're screwed, and then Mike becomes a free agent or comes and starts doing trivia under a luchador mask as El Triviablo.
El Triviablo.
And,
Real quick, I just want to welcome Flynn. He says he's new here, so welcome Flynn.
Flynn?
So that's good. Anything's dark horse pick would be Oyama for Sam, which
I
would be
like
an interesting choice. That'd be an interesting choice.
I like that.
All right. And then for the 8th pick, we have Winston.
Yeah.
Trip. Who I don't know who else is left per se.
Who's a great trash talker, because that's what he said he's going to take. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
You can talk.
That's where I see Oyama going.
100%. If Oyama isn't taken by that time, I think Winston will snag him up.
Or is he going to take Paul Preston?
That would be great.
Go to the mic.
I think Janine would get picked a lot sooner than most people think, and I can see Winston totally drafting Janine in that, because I know that people can argue with me that maybe she's not as vocal, but homegirl can talk some shit, and that was my other option. Yeah, that was my other. Yeah, I think that it would be amazing to see her on Winston's team as well.
I think the only issue there is I love her. Janine's not a first-round pick. I think she gets paired with someone else around you, like an Oyama or like a Paul Preston.
Does Winston care? Winston wants trash talkers.
So I think it's exactly that. I think he would pick her up in round 2 and pair her with whatever single player gets there.
He only wants trash talkers? I've not heard this.
He mentioned that on set. He mentioned that on SCN, and there's an interview when he first became a manager. He said something about he said
I think he's changed tune on that since then on SCN, because he's been talking about like how he's been like ranking a lot of the players and scouting out a lot of the players and rewatching, and he said he was very excited about them releasing all the old matches onto the channel because they'll watch them again and kind of reevaluate. First of all, if you're Winston, you don't need trash talkers. That's your job. You're the trash talker.
I do like Jillian's point inside of the chat. Who's taking Alex Damon? You're right, because that dude totally slipped my mind.
He's going 3rd round.
Yeah. I don't think he'll go 3rd round. I think he'll go pretty close.
I think it's because you have again 5 to 10 teams who are being taken up in round 2, and then you have filling teams, getting people like Robert Parker, Chandra, Brandon Hanna. I don't think he goes there because he plays so few matches. He is a very early 3rd round pick.
Well, here's the thing: they said that IG and
Star Wars
matches will be weighted differently. This is the whole thing. We don't even know how the scoring is going to be done. Yeah. We don't know is it going to be like total points, like however points you score? Because then you just need people who are going to basically grind out points for you. I don't care about as much about your win-loss record. I care more about how many points can you put out in a match. Will there be bonuses for TKOs, for KOs? Is it like a win is going to be worth a certain number of points? Things like that. Like,
yeah.
What is the weight for the Star Wars division? Also, like Christian also mentioned on SCN, if you're a champion, you don't play as much.
Yeah.
So everyone's talking about how huge advantage. His players aren't necessarily going to play that much.
No.
And location. I keep forgetting about this, but people keep talking about that also. A player's location and where they're at, and how that factors into how many times a year they can play as well. So I think
availability.
So next pick, number 9, Emma Fyfe. I think she gets Tom. I think that's when he goes.
I think that's when he goes. Okay.
Yeah. And so she has a quick turnaround to find him a partner, and she gets a very dominant threat who is going to play in singles and going to play in teams.
You think about Paul Preston there?
It's Paul Preston.
I think Paul Preston doesn't get picked in round 1.
I think she takes Paul Preston over Tom. She's a heel faction now.
Tom's a heel.
No, he's not.
Tom's not really a heel. Tom's
only
heel because
I don't think you know what a heel is, James.
Yeah.
Paul Preston's apparently a heel. I don't agree with that.
No, he's a heel.
Paul Preston's 100% a heel.
100% a heel.
Have you listened to any of his promos?
Okay, he's 100% a heel.
I mean, Paul.
What heels sings in their promos?
Every heel I've ever known. Have you ever seen The Rock when he was a heel?
I don't watch wrestling.
That's your problem. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Why you don't know what a heel is.
But I think Tom can be made a heel. I think he can be worked with it. He's a very strong character, so it's probably a little bit malleable. And if you look at with Emma and Grace, I think they want someone who's going to go out there and be dominant. Tom lives in LA. He's passionate about the game, and he is pretty much unstoppable. I think there's no way he goes any later.
Despite the fact that he has lost twice. Unstoppable? Cool.
He's lost on the 5 twice. First match, Rusty. Last match against Shazam.
Unstoppable if they've lost twice. That's literally the anti-definition.
On his own, I think he's unstoppable. He's missed, I think,
it's true.
On his own, I think he's missed 3 questions.
He's the new Viviani. That's what he is.
Well, I would
Is
like
it a
to
bad
see him.
thing?
No.
He's a top. He's like a 7 or 8. I'd pick Paul Preston over him. They're on the same level. I think Paul Preston fits Emma more than Tom does. I think Tom fits Robert Meyer Burnett more than he does Emma Fife.
That'd be pretty funny.
Oh my gosh.
Weird ass Robert Meyer Burnett and weird ass Tom. That's like a match made in heaven.
No, don't give Burnett someone I like. You have to boo him.
I know.
Burnett gets the 11th pick and he picks Video Drew to keep them together. Because he doesn't know anybody. He looks at Tom and goes, "Who should I pick?" And Tom's like, "Drew."
I think Burnett picks Lon Harris.
I don't think he knows who Lon Harris is.
I think Burnett picks Navarro just because he doesn't mean to. He just says it. And he just starts screaming it at the top of his lungs, and that's who he gets.
Every pick, he just keeps yelling Navarro.
I would love for Hector Navarro to come back to the Schmodown just so I can ask him to come on this podcast.
We can ask him.
Hector
about it.
Navarro will for sure be back next season, and he has to be on our show. Hector Navarro is a great dude.
Yes.
I love 500 Greatest Movies.
Yeah, right, so.
Testing. Everyone go listen to it. That's it. Okay. Love you, Hector.
Jillian, I don't disagree that I hope they stay together.
Thank
too,
you.
'cause they have,
Thank you, Jillian. Thank you.
They have a great character. No, everyone, a lot of people like them
The
together.
chance of them staying together is Robert Burnett picking them at 10 and 11.
No, you won't take Tom.
I think you would.
I think,
I
I think
the opportunity
the
was
last pick, and
There,
Tom is
there,
too
right.
good of a competitor.
Single one win in single season.
Here's Robert Burnett's draft board right here. Let me show it to you.
Thank you, Robert Parker, for this.
Tom.
Whoever's available on this list, he's going to pick. That's his draft board.
that's
It's the French list.
Okay,
He's going
okay,
to cross names off as they're picked.
y'all,
Whoever's the highest ranked, he's picking them.
y'all. We're gonna push 2:30 if we keep going, so we have to move on to the next segment,
Okay.
which is gonna be questions from the chat. So if you all have any questions about Spectacular Weekend or a draft or anything, please just let us know. While we do that, let's do Call to the Network.
Not
We
very
ain't
good
doing
this week.
shit. All right, question.
Happy holidays, everyone. We're gonna
Yeah.
go on vacation.
Yeah, we're taking the week off. For the most part, we're gonna have fun at Christmas. We're gonna drink some pumpkin spice, eggnog, White Claw stuff.
Jameson.
Whatever's there.
A whole bottle of
Whole
Jameson.
bottle of Jameson.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna
And
do
yeah,
that. We're having a
Okay.
call. We're having a call episode next week, right? That's the only thing we got planned at this point. Yeah, no chill that next week. We're taking a week off, our first week in 16 weeks, I think, or something like that. So,
Yeah.
whew, no schmo
Check
bait.
back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Next Sunday, 7 p.m. PST. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do another call episode. And yeah,
Questions. Brian, actually, we talked about this a little bit. We talked about the nominations a little time back. So you went to
we covered like half of them. Other than that, like heel of the year, Andrew Ghai, heel team of the year, the family, all the obvious stuff. One way for them to roll, and I did want to ask you guys this. So the Fanatics are pretty much officially announced for Schmodown. Who do you think they should go to? I think the Dungeon is a great option. But also, I think they're a bunch of very nice dudes. And I think I think they should go to a face faction. Dungeons is not a face faction.
I like to see them. Well,
I think
Here's a quick tidbit, real quick, about one of the nominations. It's from our queen, Shannon Barney, talking about Player of the Year, and she makes a good point
okay.
that Mike / Corruption are in 5 out of the 8 matches of Match of the Year. It's not a bad point to make.
Y'all sleep on him way too much.
Too bad I would never vote for Mike. If it was Shannon being voted for Match of the Year, I would vote for her.
That is true.
Also, Shannon is already the front runner for heel manager of the year for 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And for heel of the year and manager of the year.
But
Yes,
so
Robert.
yes, I think Garth brings up a good point. Join the rock stars. Oh no,
Nope.
there you go. Join the rock stars.
I do think that would be a great fit for the guys. Also, if you know, or Adam goes with Chris or Robert goes with Roxy. I think it would be a good move because Roxy is very much into her players and stuff like that, and the guys are super nice. And I think that would not be a bad fit if they can't get into the dungeon. I think that Roxy picking him up would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Rachel Silverstream will be too busy destroying the dungeon, I think, for the Adams to fit in. Kenneth Lee / the cool guy asked in the chat, me or your head on the platter?
Let's see.
Or it's your head.
Oh,
Mine. So
Can we get James Spence severed head on a platter?
it's not the option. It's not the option.
I like to change that option, and we change that.
Call back Bib.
Jillian, that's why we love you, Jillian. That's what it is. It's just right there.
Yeah.
I will say my severed head on a platter because I'd rather have that at this point.
Mhm.
Severed head, gaping chest wound, everything else. Which team would we want to be in?
Oh. Yeah, I would say this sort of means faction. Teammate is sort of subjective because this goes into our personal play, and I'm keeping that secret because I'm actually competing. I would love to be in the dungeon because I want to work on my smack talk, and I think Kaiser can help me with that. And also, according to Polyama in our chill episode earlier, they're just a bunch of actual friends who help each other train and stuff, and I would love to be a part of that. Like, I want to be a better player, and they feel like they cultivate great players.
Okay.
You know, I want to be in swag. Drip, drip. Woo!
All right. Spence already took the dungeon. I would love the dungeon as well, but another one. But I think if I had to pick another one besides the dungeon, since we'll jump off that, Rockstars. I think Roxy is going to be a hell of a manager. She's very supportive, and I think that's going to be a hell of a faction.
Well, I have a shrine to her in the corner of the Belford dungeon. She is my queen. She is the greatest. I put her on a pedestal. Shannon. Corruption.
Wow.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I am here for Heel Fife. I'm here all day for it. Heel Fife is amazing.
Absolutely.
Hashtag Heel Watch 2.0 has finally resolved itself.
I changed my mind. I'm sorry, Winston. It's the draft all over again. It's the manager pick all over again. I'm going to go with Emma Fife and Grace Hancock.
There you go.
Wow.
Friend of the show. Friend of the show, Robert Parker. Who do you think will build the best faction? I think Winston.
Not counting them.
Sam Levine.
Yeah.
Sam
Levine.
Levine.
Sam Levine.
Yeah.
See, I think Winston is very passionate about the game, and he'll train his players. I don't know about Sam just because I think Sam is a very strong number 2 pick. I think Winston will put so much effort into his players.
Sam was one of the first. Sam was strategy-wise. Sam was the man for a while before Ben Bateman was the man. Sam was the big strategy guy. He knows what's going on. He watches what's going on. Sam Levine is going to know exactly who to pick and when to pick them.
And he's in a good position also to where he can build a pretty strong faction. So
True enough of that.
Yeah.
I have a couple of ones in this I wanted to say.
Especially because usually in a serpentine draft, for those of you who don't know that much about, fantasy football or fantasy drafts, a serpentine draft, the one downside of being the number 1 pick is you usually get the 20th pick. So it kind of evens out. With this, because there's protected players, protected teams, you're not getting the first player and the 20th player. You're getting the first player and the 6th best player, the 7th best player, maybe even higher on some people's boards. If you pick Shazam, you get the teams, the singles finalist and a singles semifinalist. That's like a top 5. That's 2 and 5. 2 and 4. So that and
not with a protected team though.
Yeah.
Because that only matters if you get the first pick and then the last pick of the round. Because then after that, it becomes even. So that's why Sam Levine's most likely going to take a protected team because that's your first 2 right there. So that negates the whole first spot.
Like, you're going to get a protected team if you're in one of the top 5 slots and you're not, or I guess in this case one of the top 5 slots, 6th slot I guess is going to get a protected team. And you don't pick a protected team, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah,
You're
that's why.
throwing away your 2nd round pick, basically.
That is true, by the way. Roxy did agree at one point to be our manager. So we actually are all rock stars when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm gonna do something really quick. I'm curious what the other, like the 6 through 10 teams are.
All right. Well,
Because I know the Leave It is one. You have Crimson Fury, Time Machine, Paddington 2, and the Wild Berries.
Are they really?
I think
that was a shocker. Was that the Wild Berries was the 10th team
because they just play a lot of matches. Honestly, I think whoever the family ends up with, I think whoever the family ends up with have to pick up Paddington 2 together. Like putting those 2 in the faction, perfect.
What if Roxy gets Drew Ghai and the Rockstars and keeps up the rivalry between Ghai and Bateman? I would love that.
Not possible. She wouldn't lose the odd couple, and family's gone by the 3rd round.
You're not wrong, but I would love to see it happen regardless.
Yeah, that would be fun.
If she could have a 4-person faction and trade away the rest of her people for the family, maybe. I don't see that happening.
Sean says Dungeon or Finstock Exchange.
Yeah.
There we go.
If y'all want to support a great rookie besides Robert Parker, just follow Sean. He's a great dude. I didn't get him, but he drank and I was there, and he was pretty nice a couple times.
Hey, if you need a Star Wars competitor, he's your man.
A Star Wars rookie. That's a very strong, 6th round pick.
Pre-made games where you want to be creative and build a super team, 7, 8, and 9 area. Again, I think that counts mostly when you have just one pick, but if you have that first team, you can avoid that being bad.
I think Lewis makes a great point. Bring back the mega powers. You got the Horsemen and you got the Wild Berries.
Spencer just killed Sean.
What did I do? I'm the gaming judgment. I don't kill people. People kill me. That's not how it works. Yes. He is. I think Christian is on SCN that Tom has spoken that says that he really wants to play in singles.
Yeah, I believe that too. Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the New York title match and Mara's return?
Smets wins.
You think Smets wins automatically?
Yeah.
Wow. Just like that.
I think it's going to be a great fight, but I also am on Smets' side for this one.
I think Smets is going to win too, but I feel like a lot of people have said that. I feel like a lot of people are maybe taking Mara a little lately.
Yeah.
But I do think Smash wins.
Yeah. It'll be like Star Wars with Laura and Damon. It'll be like great match, barely avoid TKO.
I don't see it that way. I think it comes down to 5-point questions and who can answer their 5. Because the thing we're sleeping on here is that Mara has Dan Merle in her corner. Dan Merle's getting into Inner Geekdom. So he's studying Inner Geekdom.
Mm.
So Mara's studying Inner Geekdom,
right,
if she wasn't already, using Dan Merle training techniques. It's gonna be an amazing match. I still think Smets pulls it out because that dude is scary. I don't see anybody. I don't know who can beat him.
But you also have Ring Rust.
For Mara?
Yeah, she hasn't played since last December. She hasn't played in a year.
Not even just Ring Rust. I think the game's been.
It's kind of isn't always a thing. Like people talk about Ring Rust because they talk about Merle. Merle didn't play bad. Ghai just played amazing, and he just got caught in round 2.
Well, the difference also with Ghai and Merle is that when Merle came back against Ghai, it was a different game. Like he wasn't used to Ghai's antics and people doing shit like that. That's what he even said. He even said that, or Christian said that at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't affect his gameplay that much. He just got caught with a bad category in round 2. you don't get caught with a bad category in round 2 in IG because there's only a certain number of categories.
Sure.
If you're not strong in all those categories, what are you doing in the IG?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
All right. So last question we have here. I just lost it. KM Franklin in the chat, or Camshaft now. Who surprised you after hanging out with them, and why was it surprising? I can go first, and my answer's pretty easy. Ben Howard, a.k.a. Dale the Dude.
Oh, yeah. He was
I'm going to agree with that, too.
Yeah. If y'all don't know, apparently our show hates him. We used to be like, fuck Dale the Dude, fake Southerner.
One person who did not like Dale the Dude, but I don't. Our podcast is not a Dale the Dude hater. One person.
Having met the man, he is very nice. He is very supportive. He's very passionate. One of the few Horseman fans that we like. Great dude.
Yeah, he was. He was an awesome guy. We actually have talked about getting him on the show at some point as well. He really has a passion for everything. I did like him. As far as surprises go, I guess I can go with Dale as well. I mean, because everybody else, I had met most of their people before, so when I hadn't met anybody new, that really surprised me too much. So I'll go with Dale also. Sorry for not being original.
Mike was a little surprising the first time I met him, just because of how ridiculously nice he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that dude is super nice, like just extremely nice. I think who else?
Oh no, who put that on screen?
Probably you. Just
I'm trying to think who else.
It was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I'm sorry.
It was very fun. It was good to meet him. I was surprised he came up and he offered his hand right away to me for a handshake. It was a good, and he's also very supportive of Dylan and how we did the charity reactor stream for Karen, for Paul Preston's wife, and he actually really appreciated that and thanked us and said that was really amazing. So
I'm very sleepy, and that was not anything against John Roca. That was for Paul specifically. I thought that was funny against him.
It's been, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
no, but it was a great time. Roca and I think we made some good amends. It was nice. So.
Right. But again, going back to the question of like who surprised, I think most people, like, it wasn't a surprise for us because we interact with them all the time. Most people are usually surprised about how nice Andrew Ghai is.
Yeah,
because he
is
the best in the history of the Schmodown, and
by far.
He has no problems cussing people out on the MTS page, but he is the nicest person on the planet. Like,
you know who else is super nice? I got to talk to Grace Hancock for a little while. She's so nice, super sweet. Man, I had such a great interaction with Grace and Emma. I ran into both of them on the street. Alex and I ran into them on the street. So we had a little conversation with them and Ken. And Grace is so nice, like just extremely nice. I'm sorry for outing you, girl, but so sweet, so nice. So I was very just in fucking awe the whole time.
I also want to say that, not a surprise, but I really want to shout him out. Mark Ellis in person is just a gem. I mean, he's a genuine person. He's one of those guys, he's really listening to every word you say. He's eye contact. He's not just being there for the sake of being there. He's there with you when you're having a conversation with him, and he remembers it. Even if the first time I talked to him, he remembers conversations I had the first time I talked to him, like months and months later, and he'll bring you up and he'll start talking to you. So supportive of us, so supportive of everything we've done. The guy truly is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. A real gem he is.
You know who was a surprise for like a completely different reason is Kaiser.
Oh.
Because Kaiser is that's not a character. That's not like lines on a script. That is Kaiser.
That is Kaiser.
Yeah.
Kaiser is the same no matter what setting he's in. Like, it's funny because we interviewed him on Chill, and he was asking us, like, is it kayfabe? Is it, is it a work? Is it a shoot? and we're like, it's kind of like up to you. You can do whatever you want, and you can't really tell when he's doing a work or when he's doing a shoot because it's the same dude. It's the same thing.
All right.
So
we are pushing 2.5, which is one of our longer episodes ever. So we do need to wrap it up. Belford, where can people find you?
You can find me at Mr. Billy Belford on Twitter. You can find me. I'm Action Industries Facebook page. That's usually me interacting on there.
In the Belford Dungeon.
You can find me in the Belford Dungeon next to the Shannon Shrine,
or the Belford bus, so to speak. Sometimes to live events.
You can find me if you need a lift to a Schmodown near you. James White, I got you for New York. Will McLean, I got you for Atlanta. Paul Denuzzo, I got you for Pittsburgh whenever that happens.
All on board.
Sorry, West Coast, suck it.
Fair enough.
All right, Mr. Paul.
At Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can also find me in Action Industries, the Patreon for Team Action. I help run that and got a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of background on the Schmodown events and everything else. So meet us there. Also on the Action Industries YouTube channel, me and Richard Eric Jarvie have been doing a show called Class Action, a new show. We'd love to see you come check that out. Got 2 episodes this week, hopefully a bonus, both Star Wars related because we're big Star Wars fans. We're nerds, full on nerds. So we love that. So
one more quick story as far as meeting a Schmodown person. Paul had the pleasure of meeting Ken Knapsack in Houston in front of his hotel and had a great conversation about Ken's wonderful book, Why We Love Star Wars, The Moments, that whole thing. Great book, order it, get it. Paul and Ken have this great conversation. I come up and look at it and go, "Oh, is that your space book?" Ruining Paul's entire interaction with Ken.
It was a little bit disheartening after that. But that's okay.
Woo! Y'all know where to find me. You can find me at Danny Joy on Twitter right there. Go and look for me there. You can find me on the Facebook pages. I will be in there every once in a while. I'm trying to be a little bit more active. So if you see me, comment, hang out. Whatever. You can find me here, Chill to Action. Chill to Action is the interview show that we do. Paul and I do that every week, except for next week. We're going to be on Christmas vacation. Next season's going to be great. Next year's going to be great. Can't wait to see you all there. Like, subscribe, comment.
You can find me on Twitter at TemEQ Film Nerd. That's at TEMEKU Film Nerd. Also, just keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks. I have an announcement to make. I'm starting a couple new shows. And I would love y'all to watch that and be supportive and have a good time. And yeah, that won't be for a while. Meantime, this has been Call to Action. Thank you so much for watching this massive episode. And we'll see you guys next time.